Are you there now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Can you give us an update on your end?
Yeah, so let me get my video here. So everything's progressing pretty well out there on Amstutz Road. The majority of the sidewalk has been completed. I know I was out there on Friday and they were working on that little wall in front of the cemetery. The sidewalk and curb ramps are continuing to move north. The last that I saw, the sidewalk near the church was being completed. Yeah, and I know the pavement is still, haven't gotten an update on when the final surface will come. They're still a few weeks off. I know the temperatures have delayed the asphalt here in the area, and I know that is one thing that we want to make sure that the temperatures are warm enough so that the mix goes down well. I think the light posts are all in. The light, I believe there's maybe one light pole remaining that needs to go up. The hawk systems are in, so really just need to finish up the sidewalk, then finish up the trails, and then it'll be surface and pavement markings, and it should be pretty well complete.
We have a large pile of dirt there in front of the school. I thought they were going to use that for backfilling, but I've noticed they've been bringing in topsoil to do that. I'm assuming we're just going to have to haul that dirt out, or what's the plan with that, you know?
Yeah, the last I knew it was still backfilling. That's what they were going to use it for, so that'll be the contractor's responsibility to either spread it or to remove it.
Okay. I just don't want to get hit with we decided to buy dirt after having it stored on site all winter.
Yeah, no. I can reach out and see what Fox's intent with that is.
Yeah.
Does the town have any questions or comments?
Anybody? Nope. We appreciate the update.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Derek. Handbook?
So I sent out the documents for the handbook to you guys, I believe, last week. We have an ordinance that's been created to adopt the handbook, not as an ordinance, but to adopt the handbook with an ordinance, not as an ordinance. Per the recommendation of our attorneys, both Tim and David weighed in on that. I did not hear anything back from you guys on any corrections or changes you would like. They did send over the final version. It was supposed to be as of noon today or noon yesterday. They sent it over on Friday, but there was no changes mentioned afterward, or else I'd had that done for tonight. So the last copy I sent you is the copy that, as you guys adopt it, will be that's what it is. So in 2025-03 ordinance is the adoption of it. The second phase of this, so this is phase one, second phase of this will be, they'll actually write the job descriptions, and we have enough money approved for that to happen. So job descriptions, flow chart of who reports to who, how they report, and all that stuff will be done by them as well. So,
Are you looking for a motion?
well,
We need to waive the first reading.
if we're gonna do it all tonight, we need to waive the first reading. If we
Yeah,
wanna
we
wait,
can-
if we wanna do the first reading tonight and then read it again,
I think that'd be our best bet.
so that'll give you guys another, obviously, once we get through the first reading, if we change anything, we'll have to start over.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the first reading of the 2025-03 Adopt Town, Leo-Cedarville Town Handbook.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Open it up for discussion. Do we have any discussion? Yeah, I got the old documents pulled up too. I was looking for the new ones. this. Angela.
What you doing? Had you set up perfect.
Oh, I see what happened. Hold on one second here.
Let's do a roll call vote, being it's not money, but it's an important thing. Greg?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion passes. Unanimous.
That was to waive the reading.
Yeah,
and
now you need a motion to
to
adopt,
approve, yeah.
and it needs to pass by a super majority. So you need-
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the 2025-03 handbook from Leo-Cedarville.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion over it?
I got you, buddy.
We'll do, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion passes.
Thank you guys.
Justin. Tyler said you're gonna do a little dance to get this thing going. Yeah. Would you like to present now?
So for you council members, my name is Justin Kuhn. I'm from Hicksville, Ohio. I developed a Curious Place outside of town here, going out State Route 1. I'm involved with the property on Amstutz Road. There's 34 acres on Amstutz Road. 18 acres butts up to Donald Avenue, then it's split by the Fort Wayne City property, and there's 16 acres on the Wilderness Creek side. I came in here, I don't know, a month or so ago, probably a little longer than that, and trying to figure out what to do with the property. Currently, the property is zoned for R3 zoning, which is smaller lots. I would like to propose, one of the things is, just since I've been in Leo area in the last year and a half to 2 years, people's called me about storage and needing places to park boats and RVs and wanted to know if we'd sell parcels of ground. So I was talking to Tyler one day, actually, and we came up with this idea. It was a storage, big boy storage for boats and RVs and cars. Not little storage, but bigger items for people who live in the surrounding developments that can park a classic car or motorhome. I had it drawn. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think Tyler might have sent it out in an email. Have you guys seen any of the 3D rendering?
I have.
Yeah,
The only person that, have
It's
you
all
seen
on
it?
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Angela sent us.
I know when we first talked that we didn't, the assumption from the council was don't even bother coming to council. We're not interested in it. We don't want it up facing on Amstutz Road. So I thought, well, what if we moved it to the back of the property on Donald Avenue where nobody would see it and put some sort of housing in front of it to block it? I ended up saying townhomes. I know that there is a big stigma in Leo on townhomes and duplexes on becoming rentals. I've said it from the get-go, I'm not building anything to rent, and most developers in the area would never do that. They tell me I'm crazy. I think you could build a townhome or a duplex unit and sell the unit itself. I feel there is a need for older people that want to downsize, don't want to live in something smaller than like Winter South and just want something small. And I feel there's a need for nurses and people that work at Parkview that are just starting their lives and need a place. So I want to be clear that I'm not asking to build these and rent them. I'm asking to build them and to sell them. I spoke last time we were in here on the property to the north next to Wilderness Creek about putting a Piper Trail style development, which is Lutheran Life Villages out on Illinois Road. They did this really cute, I think, development. It's 55 plus. I don't think it'll be limited to 55 plus. I feel that's second phase because the utilities are going out from Amstutz Road from Hostler, so you want to pass the first parcel and then come back. So in my opinion, the real focus is the first property behind Donald Avenue. What do we do with that? And then you keep growing to the north. So that's what I'm here today to talk about and get your guys' thoughts and see if you guys would entertain a rezone of the property.
Dave Gall? Are you paying attention?
Do I need to?
I would like your opinion on some of this stuff.
Oh, okay, I'm here.
So, we've gotten some feedback about, houses backing up to schools, Dave, that it's gonna kill the value. It'd probably be the same thing for this. Brian? Thank you.
He's not listening.
I noticed.
I truly feel, and I'm not here to threaten, I'm not here to back anybody in a corner. About every 2 to 3 weeks, we get a phone call from a national home builder who's doing a lot of developing on Schwartz Road by Central Church, and they're very interested in buying the property. At this time, I keep trying to not do that. I want to exhaust all avenues before we do that, but I don't think that fairly fits the Leo wheelhouse. Just my opinion.
What's your thought about townhouses, Dave?
They're needed. I don't know about storage, but neat townhouses, I get people asking about them all the time.
I think they're a very hot item.
I'd say one level, but
I agree with you 100%. I know that there's people scared to hear the word duplex. It's no secret, my partner is J.R. Parent, the owner of Yellow Retirement Community. J.R. bought this basically for me to develop, being a nice guy. J.R. lives in Florida now. He buys property, he buys real estate, he's a real estate guy. He has no intentions whatsoever to put a Yellow Retirement Community in there. It's titled in Yellow Retirement because that's how he bought it for tax purposes. I say the word duplex, build duplexes and sell them. And the reason I say duplexes over townhouses is there's no stairs. Townhouses limit your buyers. There's not 15, 60-year-old people who want to downsize. As soon as they see a townhouse, they don't want to go upstairs. A townhouse is a narrow unit with a garage and an upstairs unit. I think to fit the whole market need and capture the younger generation plus the older generation, you build duplex-style units and you sell the units. And you build them nice.
So this isn't what you're.
This is one of the townhouses. I have some.
That's a two-story
That's
house.
a two-story townhouse.
Although I think both's needed myself, but
right.
I've
Are all
seen
bedrooms upstairs?
on these ones there. Yeah, the bedrooms are.
Just one down, takes care of it.
I think I've sent out in the past duplexes. I actually made a special trip, if you guys remember, to Columbus, Ohio, and drove through a really nice community, and I heard we're not even interested in duplexes. So I've had prints of both.
Do you remember when that was? I could probably pull those.
it was, I don't know, that's probably 6 weeks or so.
October, November.
Maybe end of
At
January.
least that's when he talked to me about it.
Now,
January.
I welcome a conversation from the public and from our council. There's 30-some acres up there that's gonna get developed. It is zoned R3. That means it can be developed into a house. So, you know, the question is, as a council, do we want to work with Justin and try to figure out what the best fit for our community is? Or let him put a road in and
Do you have a price point you're looking at now, or a mind, not that we're holding you to it, but
Just
just,
for the townhomes and stuff?
yeah.
I saw a project that Matt Lancy did, I think it's Copper Creek, or maybe you guys are familiar with it. I thought he was like 280 to 300 for these things.
Gotcha.
The new prices blow me away. A new starter home that these D.R. Horton style homes are 300, 350 grand. And it's crazy to me. I mean, the old days you had a $300,000 house, you had a very nice house. I printed out some things. This is, my wife's been ready to kill me because I killed the ink in the printer twice today.
Thank you.
that happens.
I had the property drawn, R3 zone. And there's roughly 40 lots in here. It shows the parcel, the development. There's a floodplain that runs through the property, thanks to Tyler. On the other side, he's saving me too. But if you guys look at this drawing, there's a major floodplain that runs through the property, so you can't build in it, so everything's on its backside. Here are some of the D.R. Horton style houses. Taxes is a big thing that I've heard has been brought up, is we need tax money. The D.R. Horton average house today, I was on the phone with Nick Jordan from the Fort Wayne Auditors for an hour or so going through tax scenarios. The average style house is, the taxes are $2,300. You can get 40 of them on the parcel to the south and 40 to the parcel to the north. So you have 80 homes. So if you take 80 homes, so we have 80 homes on the full 34 acres, 80 homes, I said 2,600. 23 is what I found, but I wanted to go a little higher just to make sure we're covered. So 2,600 at 80 homes is $208,000 a year in property taxes if you fill both sides with a national builder style home.
Angie, do you know roughly, we don't get all that.
I've been on the phone all
There you go.
I got all the info you want. Okay, here's a Piper Trail style that I printed off. And, whoops, did I unplug that?
You definitely killed the tree.
Here is the one that I would like to propose on
I
the
just seen that.
north
he just sent it to me.
side.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I'll not set it.
What did you think of that?
It is a hassle.
So this is the Piper Trail, there's some images in it. I would like to
Yeah.
propose to put this on the north side. I feel that's a little nicer parcel up against Wilderness Creek, and these are higher end style. Now, it is owned today by Lutheran, the hospital, and they're a nonprofit, and they pay 0 taxes on the parcel. They sit on 8.58 acres, Piper Trail does. Nick Jordan said if they were to pay taxes, it was valued at $10.4 million on 50 homes. And if you would take that number and if we could get 90 on the Wilderness Creek property, or on that side, it'd be $277,000 each. And that parcel alone would bring in $205,000 a year in property taxes, just the north side.
The 90 units, are they gonna be packed in like Piper Trail is?
Yep. That'd be slammed in.
Yep.
Yep.
Where's Piper Trail?
It's out on Illinois Road. If you go out Illinois Road, you go out.
Behind Parkview Southwest.
Yeah, maybe.
Lake Boulevard.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's basically this, and then there's one down here off DuPont and 3. They just have white fences.
Hey, here's one more, and I'm not gonna get near the wires.
Thank you.
Now, this is for the parcel behind Donald Avenue that we're speaking about townhomes and storage on. So I think the first page shows the site plan. There was an example of townhomes that I liked, that if you guys would have considered approved, I'd like to build something like that. I think that the Win is actually a duplex because it's a single story unit and you can sell it to older people, plus you can sell it to younger people, but for some reason there's a stigma on duplexes, so I just said, let's go with townhomes. I have the print off of the proposed storage that I would like to put in. I would like to sell the middle units. If you guys are on this page, I would like to put what I call a clubhouse up at the front. It's a nice place that people can use. The main rows right here, I would like to sell them to individuals, and anybody that buys a unit in here has access to the clubhouse. They could use it for Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, go up in the morning. And I'd like to keep the outside units myself and rent those outside storage units. Sell the middle and keep the outside. Now, we talked about taxes. There's a couple examples here that I found with Nick Jordan today online. Here's some townhome taxes. Are you guys familiar with DuPont and Clinton, where you go up to the DuPont's kind of messed up intersection, you turn and you go down left to Clinton, there's some townhomes that sit there. There's 15 townhomes right there on that property. Fall Creek Development did it. 1.4 acres. They pay $25,000 a year in property taxes on 15 townhomes. That's on 1.4 acres. So at the front of our proposal is 9 acres. You could probably use about 5. So you could get probably up to 70 townhomes on the front, which is a lot of money in taxes. It's $125,000 a year in property taxes on the front 9 acres on townhomes. So then we stepped back, we looked at, Nick Jordan and I looked at some other storage units. There is a storage unit, if you guys are familiar, where seeing our carpet is up on Stelmar, you turn right, there's a Fifth Third Bank, there's a storage unit that sits there. It sets on right at 9 acres, which would be very similar to this. This is 9 acres. Their property taxes are $120,000 a year. So if you take their $120,000 a year on their back property taxes, plus the $125,000 a year on the front property taxes for the duplex or townhomes, you're bringing in $225,000 on the south parcel, you have a tractor trailer onto it, you're bringing in another $200,000. So you're bringing over $400,000 in property taxes on 34 acres. That's a lot better than 80 R3 lots. Now, I also went as far as to actually call and talk to a lady named Rhonda Thompson down at the auditors. If you guys are familiar with where Master Spa sits on 69, when you're driving and you look off to the side, I thought I heard Keith Bussey had something to do with this, some big boy storage units there. They sell those units, there's about 115 units there in that little, it's like 6 acres, and the property taxes on one unit is $1,200. So the reason I show you that is if I would sell these in the middle, I would say those would be similar when we spoke with Nick Jordan and Robin Thompson, that those would fall similar to the taxing of what Bussey did on 69.
Those are 15-foot doors.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah, they're 60 by,
Is that what you're
yeah,
proposing?
that building.
Okay, just
100.
judging by, or I was just looking at the picture.
I want them big enough to get RVs in.
Okay.
They're, they're tall, they're big, they're 20-foot wide by 50s and 60s, so this building would probably be a 120. What I want to do right here is put a walkway in it, and this would be probably 150 wide, and then you can back a motorhome in it, and the guy can go out the back of his man cave / walk down the hallway and go into the lounge or whatever I have, you know, the man cave. I think it'd be a cool hangout for people.
Difference between that and what you're proposing is these ones out southwest are basically an industrial park, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, a lot of businesses run their business out of those.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not looking around
Electricians,
businesses.
plumbers, pipe, you know, like small business startups, they use those as their
Okay. Well, I'm not looking
headquarters.
to do that. I have
Okay.
zero interest in doing that. I want to rent them to people that live out here in these nice houses and have an RV or have a boat or have a classic car. This might sound awful, but I'm learning the older these people get, the more they want to get away from their wives. They just want to get out of the house and they want to go polish the car and hang out in the man cave. And I think that would be a very desired thing. It's something you build in phases. None of this is going to take place overnight. Anybody who's doing this is going to come in and if you do this section, you're going to build a phase. And when it sells, you're going to build phase 2. When this sells, you're going to build phase 3. And the same as the storage. So it's not like a snap of the switch. It might take 10 years. It might take 15 years to build it. But if you don't build it, they'll never come.
So that one, that looks, Justin, that one, what you're showing me there is different than
It's this
the
last.
front one,
So which one?
this one here.
Yeah, that slips back. And then-
That's it. That's in the back. I spent $1,500 on the rendering and I was told I need to come to council, so I didn't want to spend another $1,500 to add another building.
No, I mean, we have to just here,
Yeah.
so. Derek, your input? Because we have R3, and then what, I'm not even sure, do we have a gentleman in the house that might be able to answer all the questions back there. What would that have to be zoned for storage? Either one of you gentlemen.
I'd have to take a look at your zoning code. Yeah, I apologize,
Well,
I
wouldn't,
have not thought anything about the use on that parcel at all. Somebody, if you had a copy of the zoning code, I'd be happy to take a look at it right now.
Isn't it usually C1?
I was heard C1. I thought Tyler told me C1. Then I was,
Well, Leo-Cedarville zoning code is unique, so I wouldn't venture to guess.
I was heard too, we talked about a spot zoning. We can't zone it because it's spot zoning. Some of these townhomes, I looked, actually, the zoning was sent on commercial. So could you zone the whole property commercial and you build storage at the back and townhomes at the front? And we have a gentleman's agreement or something in writing that 9 acres is to be only used for storage and 1 acre is for townhomes to protect you, so you guys.
I
aren't
let
nervous.
these guys look, I mean, that's, the zoning's the big thing.
Right.
Does anybody have any comments in the audience or council on townhomes, duplexes, whatever you want to call them?
I think the townhome duplexes idea is fantastic. I think we need it up there.
I
think
know
it fit
that-
into the vision plan, of what the community wanted. The storage, I don't know how that fits into the vision plan.
Go ahead.
I see a need for storage. What's What's the price point roughly would you, for one of those units?
The one on Stellhorn, the bigger units, the 20 by 50s, are around for roughly $900.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I'm making these, I shouldn't even say it, I was selling them.
I mean-
don't know. I didn't know what it's gonna cost to build. This is like hurdle one, let's try
Yeah,
to jump
yeah.
hurdle one, and then see if
Well,
it even pencils
my-
out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, so you have storage units on the outside.
My plan was, these are 16 to 18 foot buildings, and it'd be like a big wall. You're not even gonna be able to see back in here. And I would
Yeah.
recommend do mounding and put pine trees like we did in the Carriage Place to block this view. And I would say you would build the clubhouse first and maybe these, so you can kind of start working your way to the back. I know that I've heard, well, it's not the right spot, it's in the wrong location, it's this, it's that. I don't mean it's negative, but that's some of the lower value homes in the Leo area. You don't want me to put it on to these next nice subdivisions. I mean, I don't mean that negative, I'm just saying that's the older stuff of Leo.
Yeah, no, all those people have rights too.
Yeah, I know, I don't mean that negative, I'm not
Just-
saying
yeah,
that. I just know that everybody says there's never a right spot.
You gotta be careful, you're messing with Tyler.
I know that. I don't
That was
mean that
well
negative, I'm just saying, where is the right spot?
Yeah,
I don't mean that.
See, that's the thing though, inside the incorporated town limits of Leo, there's not much space left
I know.
to build. So I have a hard time swallowing to put storage units inside the incorporated.
Okay, well, would you be happy if we put all townhomes and duplexes? I mean, I can get a lot more of them in there.
What's
I mean,
that
I'm not
answer?
saying that arrogantly, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to fill three different needs. You know?
Dave,
Has anyone looked at, I mean, we look at both these, has anyone looked at the maximum capacity for the Allen County marketplace for apartments and storage? Because they're blowing up everywhere. I mean, Menards, do they have this kind of space?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just huge, and then apartments, they're, I mean. there's
Don't
Apartment
say
buildings.
apartments, there's no apartments.
yeah, the kid,
I don't even know what apartments out here, but I know that's a dead though.
No, but
There's
I'm
no
just saying,
apartments.
it's the same thing, it's a rental, it's the,
Yeah, yeah.
that market. I just think we're gonna hit a cap
well,
at some point.
Tyler, would you like to share what Mrs. Hissong's concern was?
Well, yeah, so, and this has been reiterated a couple different ways. The other night at our BZA Planning Commission, a question came up about, the growth of the Leo schools and making sure that the schools are being built to the point where they, are not over capacity in the future. So 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, we wanna make sure we build big enough once and get it done. Her comment the other night in response to that question was if it wouldn't be for the transfers in, Leo School District would actually be shrinking. So definitely we need the homes if we want to keep our schools robust with local residents, then we definitely need the growth of population to do that, and we need affordable starter homes in our community. Or flip side, we need, the second side of that is
Fiber
we need
trail stuff.
older generational homes where people who have 4 or 5 bedroom, 6 bedroom places
Can move out.
can move into one of these facilities.
I agree.
So we went in and looked, storage is a C2 option, self-storage, I don't know what this business model, I don't know what that'll do, that'd be another question, because if you're gonna own, lease, sell some, I don't know what that, if that changes self-storage or the zoning, I don't know that answer, and that would
Do
be,
you have enough definitions in your zoning ordinance to be,
Yeah.
to be that specific?
So-
I doubt when the ordinance was adopted, it contemplated this type of a.
one of the concerns is, first of all, we need to review how this affects with our Envision 2035 plan, make sure it would align with something like that. And just briefly talking to Derek, spot zoning is normally not recommended within a code, so to do, that would mean we'd either have to give a variance of use, for that rear property, which means that everything would not be taxed at commercial rate, it'd be taxed at residential R3 rate. So therefore, we'd be missing out on dollars, so your $1,200 might be $400 or $500, I don't know what that means.
Why wouldn't you just own no commercial?
Because then we'd have to flip around and give a variance of use for the residential within a commercial to So I'm just, I mean.
I know,
it's-
there's always something, I get it, I know.
So it's one of those things is we could rezone it all commercial, the whole parcel commercial, yes. But then we would have to give a variance of use for residential use within a.
Well, not
commercial zone.
if we do townhomes, maybe, I'm not saying we need to switch it to commercial by any means.
And again, I mean, it's all coming up with the plan, but, and us.
So,
I mean,
how big, I mean, I know there can be all different sizes, but what are you thinking about the townhomes like as in square footage?
It looks to me online anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 square feet.
I agree.
They're all different sizes.
What's Gordon Levy's zoned as? The storage. It's ag? I mean,
But
that's
it's
an
probably
example in
standard,
our community.
it's probably standard non-conforming if I had to guess within the ag.
Let's shut it down. Oh,
And they built, $300,000 houses back up to that. I mean, a bunch of them. That whole section. I'm just saying it's an example.
When was that put in?
Pioneer Village.
In?
Oh, Gordon's.
92.
How long ago was Gordon's?
Before Pioneer Village.
Before Pioneer Village.
So therefore it was before the incorporation
Grand
count,
Count.
so. it'd be
I'm just saying it's an
yeah.
example of what can happen.
Right,
with
I'm just.
affordable
yeah.
housing or expensive housing backing up to it. I mean, they built all on there, didn't they? I mean, that Bear Street.
It's totally screened every side.
Yeah, right, well, screened, yeah.
Really big mounds and
Yeah.
a lot of trees.
Well, that's what I would do here. I mean, that piece of property on Amstutz Road is the hilliest property in a 30-mile radius. There's $500,000 in just to get it back to the level. So I know people say, well, why don't you just do R3? Scott, what do you think an R3 lot will sell for today?
80, 90,000, Dave?
What would an R3 lot sell for?
Well, we got yours up there that,
They just sold one on Leo Road for $90,000
Yep.
in junk area. I mean, right there on Leo and Tradewinds.
Yep.
90
Well,
grand.
Granite Ridge has got on that 70 and up, but you have to build with them. You got them at 113 and up and can build with anybody.
Right.
And that's, to me, is worth something. Looking
I just,
at,
the whole development thing is no secret, it's a numbers thing. And if you can only get so much for the lot, you can only put 40 homes in, it doesn't pencil out. The next thing, there's not even any water. I'm going Thursday to the sewer district again to hopefully get Pioneer water. When we bought this farm, it was supposed to be Fort Wayne City. They want us to pay to run the water from State Route 1 all the way over. You financially can't do it. It doesn't make sense. I went to them, the reason I thought of the storage unit, that you could start construction on it, I don't really need water. I went to the sewer district a couple weeks ago, and these guys were there, and they approved to allow me to put in a well, and I thought that would start the cycle of development and keep the bulldozers running, and get a storage unit in and run it off of a well. And someday, when this whole water debacle in Leo gets figured out, if it's Pioneer or it's Fort Wayne City, then we can move to the next step.
Greg, or we'll start with Brian this time. We always start with Greg because he's to my left. What's your thoughts on this project and specifically townhomes, duplexes, whatever you want to call them?
I said it before, I think it's a good idea, I think it's needed.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know where you stand on the storage.
Yeah, I get it. I'm
Yeah,
around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's opinion, you're allowed to have them.
Nothing against it, I'm just not.
I get it, I understand.
Seamus,
I think there's a need for both. Personally, I like it, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like you're doing a really nice job. I wouldn't want
We're gonna do a very
just
nice
some tin.
job. The quote on that building right there, the unit was over $10 million.
Yeah.
oh, he's well aware.
Okay.
He's building Anytime Fitness.
Oh, okay, all right. So
Yeah.
it is a very nice, high
He's well aware.
standard looking. It wasn't just throw it in and put in roll of garage doors.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing for the area, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that everything comes at a cost.
Yeah.
I personally am, I'm in favor of the townhomes or duplexes. Townhomes, I guess, is a better word, you're right. What do you think? I guess we'll just keep going.
Yeah. We do need affordable housing for young families and older people looking to downsize. That you check the boxes there. I think there is a need for, I guess you could say upscale storage.
I agree with you.
But I liked your original idea back in, I think, January when you were here. I'm a little hesitant on the mixed use of, you're gonna pay, you know, basically another mortgage for a nice, storage facility where you can play with all your toys. But then right across the road or across the drive, you're gonna have storage.
What do you mean?
So is that just open
I
to
didn't
the?
understand what you meant there.
So, you're gonna open that up to, it's gonna be like the storage unit right out here?
No, it was still gonna be RV boat storage. Some people hate to rent. And some
Okay.
people might say, I
Oh,
just
so
wanna
you're-
buy my unit.
Oh, okay,
You
I
know,
get what you're
wanna
saying,
buy
okay,
it. And the
thanks.
people that buy would own it would always have access to the clubhouse, it'd be a perk, it'd go along,
Okay.
do whatever they want. Then the other units, if people, I don't have the money, I just wanna rent, I
Rent,
want a new mobile
okay.
home, I was gonna rent those units. So they
Okay.
will all be the same size. There's gonna be no 5x5s, 10x10s, throw your clothes in because we're moving it.
Yeah, my apologies, I was
That's all right.
assuming storage units,
Yeah,
like
no,
for
I'm-
personal.
They call them big boy toy
Yep.
storages. You know,
Okay.
I don't know if that's the correct name, but it's.
Yep.
We get the idea,
Yep,
at least
yep,
with
yep.
that
Yeah,
verbiage.
that's what I
Yep.
was
So you have a
thinking.
place to put your cars now.
Oh, he already has a place, that's why he's not concerned.
I'm
You're gonna
buying
outgrow
a
that
stackable
pretty soon.
lift so that I can start going out.
So, yeah,
I've actually been looking at one.
I'm a proponent of both, especially the affordable housing. I think that needs, that's a need here in our community.
I want to speak up on affordable housing because I feel there's a mislead on affordable housing. There's some affordable housing that we've talked about, a nice young guy that comes in and just puts up cracker jaxes and uses 1/4-inch drywall and builds a house. And then there's affordable housing that are duplexes that are smaller but are nicely built and constructed, and
Yeah.
that's why I want to do the townhomes in that.
Yeah.
I don't want to intermix affordable housing and affordable housing. There's
Yeah,
affordable housing going up the road.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do.
affordable housing to Leo.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Greg,
I've already talked to him and told him what I thought our vision was here in Leo. And this is downsized by everything that I talked about with him before. But I can see the need for the whole plan for the older, more retiring people moving out of their bigger homes that they don't ever use the upstairs anymore and moving into something smaller like this Piper Trail type style home, and then leaving the market open for the younger families to come in. Nowadays, you're not going to buy a house anymore for less than $250,000, $350,000 anymore. You're not going to do it. The market won't allow it. I just seen a stone house that I grew up right next to. I know what my parents paid for the house right next to them, and this just went for $333,000. And Babe Furnish has been dead for a long time who built that house. That house is super old. So you're not gonna buy anything else around here super cheap anymore. So to move the people that are retiring and wanna get rid of their stuff and want a simpler life into these Piper Trail type things, I'm all for.
but that would be the second lot more than the
Right.
first lot.
Right.
And I agree with you,
I
that's
do-
very well needed, but
I do not care for, I don't care for the whole townhouse, or what's the duplex looking ones, the two-story ones?
The townhouses.
Townhouses, yeah, the townhouses I'm not in all favor for. I have my own opinion on that, and I'm gonna keep it, but I'm not in favor of those. But this here, and I am also, see the need for storage. I don't think you can go wrong with it, I think you'd sell them.
Not to interrupt you, but I've had
You're
calls
fine.
since the
You've
last time we
interrupted
came
me
in here.
before, it's
People
no big
that's
deal.
called that once say, you're gonna get that, we're interested in buying, let us know. I'm not trying to put a black eye in Leo. I'm trying to do something nice. My partner and our parents gave me an opportunity to make money and develop and be busy. He doesn't care about this. I could walk out of here today and this gets voted down and it's sold, and it's Schwartz Road. And
Well, you keep saying that, but I'm gonna
I'm
tell you right now,
serious.
if we don't want it to be Swartz Road, it won't be.
Well, if it comes in as R3, we can't do it.
We can't stop it.
We could change it. We could change the zoning.
Can they change the zoning?
It's not, I don't need to go down.
No, we're not, but he
No, I'm
keep,
just telling, I'm not trying to back anybody, I'm just telling you, how long have we been doing this? I've been coming in here for almost, 8 months? I mean, we've had this property over a year.
things don't happen fast though. We keep telling you that.
Okay. How long a time frame are we looking at on this?
I think we just been giving you an opinion on what to do. Are you listening?
No, I
Because
am listening.
we are telling you, and it's like, I don't know, I can see what I just said, I can see the need for that, but I'm not so sure about the duplex thing.
Justin, why not type the trail on those properties?
I think that,
You know, I wanna see the tax level go up as much as possible to come back to the town to keep the town growing. That's my whole thing, I've told you that, I don't know how many
that's why I
times.
spent
Exactly.
20 hours working on these taxes to show you.
But we still don't know how much taxes we're getting.
Right.
Piper Trail style is needed. It's not,
I don't think Leo could support 2 Piper trails.
well, and I don't know if it can or cannot, but that still defeats the purpose of what our envision plan is to draw people, to draw families, young families. And I know if we have enough for every senior person to move into, that'd free up homes. But the homes in this town are not cheap. We have 18 in 46765 right now active, and 10 of them are 500 plus, up to 1.3 or 1.4. So, can starting out families buy these homes? No. Are they gonna try? No. I'm dealing with 2 brand new right now in my business, and Dave can contest. If they're brand new people starting out, I tell them, we're looking inside the city of Fort Wayne. Which part do you like the best? Because that's where you're gonna live at the 250 and less. So,
I want to offer the Leo community and those families the nicest built quality construction house that I can for that price. And the way you do it is you put it in, they're close, they're like duplex and townhomes.
So
The
the
younger
question
generation doesn't wanna take care of their properties either.
100%. I got a 30-some-year-old nephew, he comes home from work, he sits inside like Peter, he don't even want to mow his yard. And the generation is changing from Greg's and your guys' age. If I'm sitting inside, I'm going crazy. There's people that they don't want yards. They
so,
don't want houses.
and I agree with that. So on that note, Grable's got villas in Saddle Creek right now, and I know quite a few of the people there, and there's some in New Haven as well, in the townhome style. And it's the 30 and younger moving into them,
Right.
which I find interesting, but I'm a Gen X, so I don't think like everybody.
Yeah, I'd rather have 10 acres to mow.
Thank you. Yeah, but they are drawing the young people.
Matt Lancius.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was talking about.
It's right here.
Is that
Yeah.
Copper Creek or Copper Seat?
It's called
Copper Horse or something?
Copper Horse, I think, yeah.
And he built the
Copper
townhouse,
Horse.
blew through.
And you're,
Yeah.
it's like Scott says, there's young people and old people, both.
What I would like tonight to do tonight, and I know that things don't happen overnight, but I mean, I'm the one stir crazy. I would like something to do, like something to get the ball rolling and focus on. The first parcel we need to focus on is the one closest to Donald Avenue, because of the way the utilities lay. That's how you work. You can't pass it and then come back.
Derek, we're back to you. Can't help it, buddy.
That's the question.
Not really a question. My worry is spot zoning and doing that. I'm not against the idea, but we start something, we have to go all the way down that road. That's what worries me. Not the storage center, not up against the houses, but if we do it for you, anybody, the next people that come in, because we all know there's some property out here on Garrick, and that's going to be up and could be getting developed. And I'm not, you know, I got nothing against you.
Yeah, I
But if we do it for you, and we don't do it for the next one, we could get ourselves in a little bit of a pickle. That's what concerns me about that.
I think, and I'm not in your shoes, I think that you put stipulations in that you have to meet. Almost every developer that I've talked to This guy included, sitting back here, Dave Zare, who is part of Northeastern Group, one of the largest development companies in Fort Wayne, Indiana, has put in over 25,000 lots. Nobody builds houses, and these townhomes and duplexes, everybody wants to rent them. You're gonna build them and sell them? Why not? Why not one of these? Rent them. No, I'm not, I know that's not even, it's under the bridge. I'm doing things that others wouldn't, I feel. And if you guys set the parameters and say, here's what it is, as long as you meet them, I'm willing to do that. And you gotta put it in writing. And there's probably some people that wouldn't do that. So, that's.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it? Since he wants to call you out, you're on the hot seat now.
Yeah, I've lived out here for.
Can you come up to the
Oh,
microphone so
sure.
you can be heard? And what was your name?
Dave Zare. Devin, I've lived out here for 50-some years. We have.
A little bit then.
I'm sorry?
A little bit of time.
Yeah, a little bit of time. And so, my preference would be that nothing happens to anything and everything stays the same.
So you are a true Leo person.
Our family's been in the development business since 1957, so I know that's not realistic. I kind of favor this mixed use because I come down Amstutz Road, and all the people that are in these houses are going to be in front of me when I'm late for the dentist. And so the thing I like about the storage is you've got the traffic that goes in and out of the storage is going to be. I think I sent you guys you sent an email. There's a very low traffic count for the people that go in and out of the storage, and that's why I kind of like the mixed use part of it. But I don't have. So I like this. I like this idea, I guess.
No, we just asked for your opinion.
Okay,
And you
there
gave
it is.
Thank you.
He pulled it back out for you, buddy.
Anything else you want to say, Justin?
So the long and the short of this is, if we send him in a direction to go, that property gonna get developed, and after it's done and it's over and it's put together, it's gonna be used. Those storage units are gonna fill. The houses are gonna fill. People are gonna sell, they're gonna flip-flop, they're gonna go from big houses to small houses, and the big houses are gonna get filled because it's a waiting list a lot of times, and this market is hard telling where this market's gonna go with the economy too. So just let's give him an idea what direction to head tonight.
Well,
I don't think,
so
I'm
I
not
need
sure
to.
we can, but we need to get a path as the council
Right,
to head
'cause
down for him.
The reason that I invited him here tonight, again, is because if it goes the zoning route, it ultimately files back on you guys' desk. You guys are ultimately the holder of the keys of the zoning, so we can go send it through planning, we can do all that work, we can go through all the zoning work, but ultimately it's gonna come back to you guys. If you guys don't support it, there's no sense in him moving forward on that route. The variance of use ultimately is gonna fall up to the BZA. If we don't wanna rezone it, we wanna keep it R3, we're gonna have to send that over to BZA. BZA would offer him a variance of use for the R3 district.
That would be for the townhomes?
No, right now it'd have to be for storage
Okay.
and townhome, because townhomes, it's too high of a density per square.
Right.
So we would have to use a variance of use across the whole property. One of it would be for the storage, the other acreage would have to be for the townhomes, and we'd have to do a variance of use for both of those. Same thing flips to Piper Trail. So as we go into Piper Trail, we're either gonna have to rezone it as R4 to get the density up high enough for you to be able to build, or offer him a variance of use in R3.
So,
I think if we're gonna do the Piper Trail, we do the rezone with, get it rezoned, get it zoned properly, but put stipulations like we did Marcarios on it. That would be my recommendation to do that.
so let's say in a perfect world, you got the green light to develop this. If it's townhomes through the whole thing, or what you got. What would it look like before you start the next lot, Piper Trail style homes?
How long the timeframes are you asking? I go back to a lot of this depends on the water. I invite you guys. Thursday I'm going to the water sewer district.
Oh, you don't think I'll be there?
I'm going, please come.
I won't miss him again.
I'm going there Thursday, I think it's at 3 o'clock. When I was in there last time, they told me, basically, why are you here? We don't care about your water, you can put in a well and you can hook to our sewer. I would love to start townhomes, I would love to start a Piper Trail, but obviously that needs water. Storage isn't near as big an issue on water. I'm gonna propose to them that Pioneer Water is right at the corner of Postler Road. Can the Pioneer Water extend out to fill this development and we start construction?
And I know what they're gonna say. Mr. Leakey, do you have any comments or concerns or ideas?
I have no comments.
Thank you.
I was told that they have worked something out with Pioneer on maybe the new school. So-
Mr. Leakey, do you have a comment to that? None again, all right, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
A lot of things moving and working,
Yeah.
so that's all that matters.
So the whole thing, I guess, to answer any of your thing, a lot of it depends on the water issue. You can't, no developer can pay themselves.
No, I
for the water
understand.
over.
So let's say the water's not an issue.
So the water's not an issue, let's break ground and let's roll. If the water is an issue.
I know, but I'm still trying to get to that second lot. Are we looking at 5 years, 10 years? Because this is a big project. I'm not saying it's not, but we
I would say
need
within
retirement
3 to 5 years,
communities.
probably, by the time you get there and start outlaying cash, and as we all know what's going on with this economy right now, who knows?
Is there any chance you could do them at simultaneously?
I doubt it,
I understand.
Much capital raised.
That would take a lot. I get it. I feel we really need the retirement, as Greg has hit on 5 times. But,
Young and old.
well, I know, but I understand you gotta go through, why wouldn't you develop the first one? I
Right.
see your side,
Yeah,
but we need the retirement 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
right. I would think the
Am I wrong,
service
Dave?
would go into,
Well, is there anything that would stop, so parent, they're yellow?
Yeah.
Like if they wanted to build those retirement homes on that property, could we stop them?
Yes.
we'll draw something up.
Huh?
It's too high of a density.
Yeah, wrong
Okay.
zone.
All
So
right.
as long as we
See, I don't know
don't
the
rezone it
zoning,
to
I'm
R4
Yeah,
or R5, it's too high of a density to reach
Well,
that.
I'm gonna say it's not, but I'm gonna say, we would sign something with you guys that we don't have the plan. We're not here to pull the wool over anybody's
Well,
eyes.
I'm not suggesting you are. My thing is like, if we don't give you approval, what stops somebody else from doing something that's even worse? That,
They would have
I
to
like
come
the
in and get a
proposal. I
variance.
don't want something cheap going in there,
Well-
and DR Horton coming in and building cheap homes in there, and we can't do anything about it.
Well, this, if, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I'm looking at on paper here, this is gonna be totally different than Marcari's place, because Marcari's place, he let the builders, or he let Scott or me or you buy our lots, and we pick our builder, so it's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
These are gonna be cookie cutter, homes, they'll be the same thing, so he'll have the same builder come in and develop this.
I agree, but I think that he's gonna build a quality, like I'm looking at quality.
On one
Right.
of these things.
That's where he
said.
said,
I
I'm
don't
not
want
putting
a
in
cheap,
quarter-inch
apartment
drywall,
or
yeah.
cheap home being built in there.
I don't think he'll do that.
I don't believe it either. I'm just saying what would stop, if we don't approve him, what stops somebody else from being able to do that?
they have to meet the R3 standards,
Right.
which could be anything from Lancia Custom to DR Horton. They all could build it.
The R3 standard right now is zoned for a 9,000 square foot lot. I
Okay.
can go and put in a 9,000 square foot lot with a 70-foot front. That's what's going in Schwartz Road, that style of lot. So I could go in there and I could put a road, and I could put a street, and I could put lots on sale and on Zillow, and those guys we just mentioned can show up and buy lots.
Okay.
What I wanna do is rezone it out of R3 to a higher density and put nicer quality product in townhomes, duplexes, and when I'm saying those are hooked. Those are, townhomes, there's 4 of them that are hooked, and then there's usually a gap, and there's 4 or 5. They're not just standalone units. And I think when you put them together, it saves cost, and then you can start putting granite in, and I really like the way Star Homes builds a house. I like their look, they put core goes on them, they make them cottagey. I think that's the look that I would like to see you go with.
Just a quick question, educate me on this. So, you build the townhomes or duplexes, whatever we're calling them. They sell, you sell them, how do they get maintained? Is there?
I would set up a homeowner association, just like Macarius Place. You set up a homeowner association, there'd be dues. So everybody inside there would be no different than Macarius. They'd pay $795 a year, would cover the landscape out front, the irrigation, the pond, fountain, the street lights. So that's how I would do that. And then also what I would do is write in the deed on these, which which nobody else is going to, that these are only owner occupied. So to own one, it has to be owner occupied, so they don't turn into rentals. I understand your guys' concern on properties turning into rentals. I've owned rentals. I sold. I got so sick of them being trashed. I don't want these to be that, and I can't beat that dead horse enough. We set up a homeowner association, we write it in the deed, these are only owner occupied, and here's the price. And
So
we told them nice.
that's huge, because, I mean, we have rentals in Pioneer, Lionsgate, I mean, they're in every edition, I believe, in our town.
That would include Airbnb.
I don't think there's any place where
Yeah,
that's.
I want people to live there, I want it to be nice. I like nice stuff. I don't know if you guys.
Did you write that in Mercurio's place?
What?
Owner occupied?
Yeah, I believe it's only owner occupied, no Airbnbs.
I like that new standard.
On another topic, we were talking about the trail. This is completely, my ADD just hit me in the head, but I'm gonna start the trail out at Mercurio's place within a month or so.
Okay.
API is doing the same with what Derek said, waiting for the asphalt plants to fire up, so we'll put the trail in out front there.
Angela?
I'm dying to start a new project. I'm looking to start a new project, so I would like to try to find some direction tonight on if I'm wasting my time, or can we?
Well, I mean, we have the opportunity now to help guide this with you here. So I think that would be ludicrous of us not to help guide. Angela, what is your thoughts? That's what I thought.
My biggest concern is that's 10 acres of assessed value that's not gonna increase, as all of the acreage around it will. I mean, everyone knows our homes increase in assessed value every year. So 10 acres of that as
In a few
storage
years, it went up
may have a
20%.
slight increase, but it's been proven, I talked to Nick Jordan as well, it's been proven, storage units don't increase in assessed value. That's 10 acres of homes that we could be building instead of storage units. That's my concern. The need here is homes. I'm not,
No, I agree.
I know that's our biggest issue.
And you have a comment?
The only concern I have about that piece of property is there's FEMA approximate floodway through that quarter of it.
Right.
And that stormwater issue will have to be worked out to protect
Yeah, all
all the
this.
residential structures.
So, do you see, just by the quick look, an issue with what we have up here?
It'll just have to be engineered. So it'll have to come in and we'll have to work on the flood protection grades to make sure any habitable structures are high enough. I mean, a FEMA floodway is, that's the main course of the water. I mean, the floodplain we talk about, that's the 100-year event. Floodway is where the water is going, and that has to be protected and is.
Yeah.
And so, it sure could be engineered. But it's anytime you have a floodway on a piece of property, it severely impinges that design.
It's that line right there, I believe, it runs through the.
So that'll just have to be worked through and see if it can be engineered.
That's one reason, I'm glad you brought that up, because when you look at 18 acres and you look at all the housing, if you went with R3, it takes out 6. So to your point, on 10 acres of development, if we keep it R3 zoning, you're gonna get more houses and more growth and more tax money by doing the duplexes in town because of the density.
Would you consider doing that instead of the big boy, big toy storage for right now? And possibly look for, another piece of property in our area, but, close to us?
If you guys if we want to put duplexes and townhomes on this property, I would entertain doing it. I'm trying to find more density to make it work, because there's a couple hurdles. I mean, it's no secret that property was for sale for a long time. I think it was almost a year that property was for sale. The big boys that are professional developers really came in and swiped it right up. There's problems with it. There's the floodplain. There's no water. It's a hard developable piece. So the reason I'm saying that is because now we gotta get density on it to make it numbers work.
Okay, so just, I know you do this stuff all day long, so bear with me. Well, whatever. So I think you do. So I've worked with you before, you're all over the place. So instead of putting the big boy toys thing up there, if you would actually make, because you're gonna keep some of them, and I see the rental part making more money in the long term. But you're gonna sell more than half of them, right? The big boy toys, right? So you're selling them and you're done. What are you figuring? About 165, 175,000 we talked about before?
I would say, yeah, somewhere between 150 and 100.
Okay, so that's a one-time sell for that. If you put more density, like you just said, of like these Piper Trail type houses, and if you notice, I'm still going that way, right?
They're cute.
Notice
They're
that?
They're awesome.
Notice that?
I like them. I
See
think
how
they're
I'm
nice.
pushing you a little bit?
I like it.
You can get more density, and you're looking at more in the area of 3 to 3 1/4 for those. And so, wouldn't your intake be more than as far as the usage of the land and the density? Wouldn't it be more valuable to you to build those instead of the storage units? In the long run?
In the long run, it probably would, I guess. I never thought of it that way. I just think.
I'm just spit.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
if
I'm
you
talking
threw
as a
something
friend,
back
so-
up and you say,
No.
Greg, I thought of that, but God,
No,
look at this.
I was just trying to fix 3 needs that I saw. I know there's a need for storage because I feel
Right.
the calls, and a couple of you guys yourself sitting up here calling. So I know there's a need for that, so that would fix that need. I feel there's a need for younger generation, Gen Xers for townhomes or duplexes. I love the Piper Trail. Like the Piper Trail's rear load garages with little porches on them, let the people intermingle. It's super cool, it's high end. I think that's on the other side. I don't know if there's enough demand to do Piper Trail on this side, Piper Trail.
Well, what if
on
you
that side.
put townhomes
I
there
agree.
then?
So,
It's actually the same density.
So, well, it is, but I mean,
well, if you put 90 over here Piper Trails in the future, and you take 10 acres and you pack another 90 here, and now you got townhomes, I mean, you're competing with yourself with a lot of stuff, I would think. I would think, you create your land over here, 90, do your townhomes here, and storage. I mean,
So how many townhomes are you talking about in the whole thing now?
I don't know. I mean,
How many are there?
Sounds like a lot of people in front.
would you guys own the property to do all townhomes? I mean, I'm here tonight to try to, I'm not to
No.
argue, I wanna do what we all feel is the best.
I think
thing for the-
you're probably gonna have to come back in 2 weeks, but because I think there's a lot of digestion, a lot of good conversation, 100%, great conversation. I agree we need to Piper sooner or later, that's why I keep asking when.
Right.
I agree with you, to compete with yourself would be not a good business move.
Right.
What about villas back there instead if the storage doesn't go? And I'm not saying tonight it's not
Yeah.
gonna go. I think everybody needs to go home for 2 weeks, come back, digest this, think about it, and then we need to push you down the road one way or the other.
Right, and I wanna hear all. One thing I wanna bring up too, that just keeps compounding cost. Fort Wayne City, when we talk to them, when you run the water through, now you also gotta run it from property line to property line and dead end it. Well, that's a cost. The next thing you guys are gonna tell me, we need a trail that goes from here to here, and that's another $100,000. Then we need another trail that goes from here to here, that's another $100,000.
We do.
We do.
So
We
the
might as well just talk about it straight up front.
We were just waiting to tell you this next
It
2
it doesn't have to be a
weeks.
trail, I think it actually could be a sidewalk along there, just save you a few dollars or
Look,
cost
my
a little more.
point of
We
what
go
I'm
3
trying to
foot, not
say
4.
Is it just keeps adding.
Yeah, it
So the way to
does.
make it work, we gotta think outside the
Dave?
box.
I think it would help, we're at BCA, Rob and I both, I think it would help for discussion about spot zoning, because you said that a number of times here. It's accepted, I mean, it's a term, it's not really a defined term in zoning, I don't think. It's just used by planning, said, well, we don't allow spot zoning. Well, when is an exception? When do you allow spot zoning? Because they do allow it all the time. Fort Wayne does, Allen County does. So that, I think, is part of the discussion too. When is spot zoning acceptable to this body and to the community?
And ultimately, I think this is the issue, is that while this body holds the keys to the final vote on spot zoning, and that's the reason he's starting here, right?
Right.
Ultimately, it's gonna have to pass 7 guys in planning commission to go through spot zoning as well, and I don't know though, it
may not.
It may not, that's the thing, I don't know that answer.
I'm just saying that's something from my perspective, it's like, what do people see as spot zoning? I think it's worth getting that perspective, and when is it acceptable? When is it okay? When is it like out of left field where you set a precedent that?
I can reach out to DPS.
And you guys just had a meeting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We have another one
I mean, right, Robin, I mean.
next month, whatever it is.
Well, that's a month.
No, it's not that far out.
Well, I know, but I really would like to kick him down the road here with an idea.
I I would like to say when you guys give me the authorization to do McCary's place, we came in here and I think it was zoned R3, and then we went to R1. I said, we need to just make our own, and R2.5, and we did. And I kept my word with you guys. I came in, the first time I ever came in here, I had 43 lots. And I come back to 40, and I ended at 38. And the reason I ended at 38 is I thought that was the best fit for the property. Most people would have just crammed 43 in there and made as much money as they could. Every lot that I took out, I lost money. But I did it to make the property nice. And that's what I want to do here. I want to build, when if we get this approved, I'm going to sit down with the engineer and start spending real money and get it drawn up, to what I feel fits the property the best. And if it doesn't fit the property the best, I'm not going to do it.
But we have to look at our vision plan,
Right.
start something new, our community wants and needs. I mean, there's a lot for us to consider.
I get that.
I really want to give you a direction in 2 weeks and send you down the road to get it all done so it comes back.
Thank you.
I just don't think we can do that tonight.
I get it.
But I really think that everybody's got a feel of what he wants. Now you need to go home and think about what our community, our vision, and what you think is right for all of that, not for you personally. I voted for McCary's place. I still hear about it from my wife that's not like it. So, do I want to look across the river when I had natural habitat, 2 houses? No. Do we need growth? Yes. Did I see a nice addition going in? Yep. So I voted for it. Take your personal feelings out. Think about what's best for our community, what's best for our vision, and we make a decision from that to push them out in 2 weeks.
Well, I thank you guys for your time. Sorry
Thank you.
it took so much. Sorry for the
Well,
crowd.
it needed to happen.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. I'll
Thank you.
try to come back in 2 weeks and see if we can figure a plan.
All right. Amstutz Road Nature Trail,
Stand by one.
stand by.
I'm just gonna pull it up here. Give me a second to pull it up. All right, on the screen there before you, we've been talking in the office, we own the 17 acres on Amstutz, north of Hostler, south of Donald. We are looking for a purpose for that property.
You saying storage? No, I'm joking.
We did a ground that we actually pulled cores on it a few years ago, and the property is mostly, if it gets developed, it'd be extremely expensive, and I think, Derek, you were part of that process as well. So our thought process is, what can we do that can still allow it to be baled, but still utilize it for our community? Our suggestion would be that we come in, basically, the guys will mow trails into it, similar to what they do at Matea. We'll open a couple of entrance points, and then
That house is right there in the bottom. Okay, gotcha.
just let people have, basically free reign. They can walk in, they can walk around. It'll just be open nature. We have no plans of planting trees right now, although in the future, we can see the need to plant trees. Almost, with the exception of some certified letters and some communication we gotta get out to some homeowners. I don't see really a big cost in mowing it. You can mow it, once a month, and it's basically kind of a cross-country trail, for lack of a better term for it. So again, the thought process is how can we utilize the property we own and get people out on it and start using it well.
Would it be under the park board auspices?
Probably, maybe not. I doubt it, because it's fully a town owned.
Not the way we had talked about
Yes.
it on this.
Yes.
So, all the orange lines are the trails?
Yes. The red line is the actual parcel lines.
Yeah.
So the orange line would be roughly the trails.
I tried to, if you go out on Matea's, I think it's on there, isn't there? A screenshot of Matea's.
Well, do you
Like
think
what they
people
do
will
there?
use it?
No,
Yep.
not that. Oh, here it is.
Dog park. I mean, there's huge demand for dog parks. I mean,
Takes a
you
lot of
think
money.
about it over there.
But unfortunately, it requires someone
Money
to
and maintenance.
So that's,
maintain it, take care of it, and right now, parks is killing us.
Yes.
So this wouldn't be maintained?
Being your own park.
Well, I know, I'm just
I can
saying,
tell you, over at Riverside Gardens, those potty things are filled full, and I'll let you go around on the grave.
Yeah, so,
They compost there.
I don't disagree, Dave, it is
I just
needed,
think that it's
but,
in our community. I know it was on our master plan for the parks.
yeah, but
It's huge.
let's look back at, I mean, what's passing or what did pass today? I mean, we're not gonna get as much money
No.
in the future.
Did it go through or not?
Yes.
SB1, did it get signed?
So we're
I work for
I
federal
thought he
government.
signed it.
I know this morning the announcement was it was being signed
I thought it
today.
signed-
I have not
I thought
seen
it passed
all day.
yesterday and he was signing today.
So, I mean, we're gonna lose money,
It was
and,
signed, so yes,
Oh,
it
you're
was
trying to
signed
use the
today.
funds.
no, we don't, so our budget's gonna go from here to here.
Yes.
That means park board budgets, everybody's budget. We have to find a way to save money and add in a dog park, although it is needed.
Well, people will use this as a dog park anyway. No, they will. They will. It just won't be called a dog park. They use Matea as a dog park.
Well, and I know, but I mean, with our new trails in, going to Matea makes me question personally if it would be used. I don't know. I also thought the trail going to Grable was ludicrous, that big, and boy, was I wrong. I've been wrong once or twice.
No choice.
Maintenance, Brian.
Well, my point, this is what I would look at it, especially knowing we're gonna take a pretty big hit with what just come down the pipe. The proposal they're looking at with doing what they're doing, literally is gonna be about 4 hours, 5 hours a month in maintenance, labor, to do exactly what we're doing with it now, and expense wise.
But
We're not gonna have any money.
I understand. Where do you spend most of your time right now?
At the parks. But-
That's a major problem with our town.
Right, but realistically though, this is probably 4 hours worth of mowing a month of, and that is the only maintenance we have to do to it. That up and above of what we're doing right now with that.
Mr. Leakey, are you taking that on?
I mow it twice a year now.
Not the kind of mowing he's talking about, but for sure.
So, okay.
Yeah, feel free,
Okay,
that's
so
it.
in your guys' stuff, there is a sheet in there that I put on there, items needed and potential cost. Just ideas, there's not gonna be that much money involved. There's old picnic tables sitting over at the barn that if spruced up, tightened up, could be utilized in some of that shaded, area, not in the way of any type of mowing. My husband and I have gone over there and cleaned it out multiple times, picked up all the trash, so it does get dry once in a while. It wouldn't be a bad place to picnic.
You can't see that.
That's not, is that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. Like he said, the mowing wouldn't take that much, so there's not a huge additional cost in the mowing. As long as the trash stays minimal, it can still be baled twice a year. Thank you, Robin. But all it would just be is just a walking trail. There's the 2 stars on that map would be the 2 different entrances. Those were the flattest points to get to it from the sidewalk and or the road. The one is off of Hassler.
So there's no parking.
No, it'd be
Yeah, it
coming
would
off
be
the trails.
Off the trail.
Yep.
It would just be a walk too.
Well, and you could also have an entrance, we were talking that one entrance by Dunning's house, right? But straight across the field.
Yeah, that's
is-
that star, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, straight across the field. I just don't want people to drive their cars and then be parking in front of all those
Right,
houses
I mean,
there, so.
that is an option.
They could walk
It's
there, yeah.
basically dead ends right into it. I don't remember what the name of that street is, but the little.
I got the wrong one, so don't worry. He's got no documents. I have last meeting. I got, all mine say 4-1 on them. That's all right. I didn't do it. You put them on there.
Oh, his computer's updating.
Oh,
He lost everything.
so you put these on mine. So what are we looking for?
I mean, I guess at this point, we're talking minimum cost. If you guys are interested in pursuing it, we can start laying it out and pursue it. And kind of put together, we have to talk to, by the star down,
Yeah. There it
by the
is.
star down here, we have to talk to those homes. That property is actually ours between those 2 homes, has been for a long time. So they use it as if it's their own property though. So we'd have to probably pick up the mowing of that property if we tell them we want to utilize our own land. They've been mowing it for,
They might need to move some of their.
yeah, they have to move some of their stuff off of it. We'll have a little bit of cleanup to do back there and probably some seed work on there.
That's only what, like 20, 25 feet wide maybe?
No, it's lighter than that. It's probably 35 or 40. It actually was made for a street originally until,
It's 50 probably.
yeah, until they put the barn on the property line.
Brian,
I like it.
Seamus,
Yep.
Greg,
You.
looks like you're moving that way.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for the extra mowing.
Are they doing hay removal instead of burn, like Smith?
Oh, yeah,
does burn?
Yeah, no,
So
he
hay.
bales it.
Cool.
Cedar Creek Township,
Just looking for approval to send that letter that was sent out to you guys, as long as everybody's good with it.
I didn't see it, I'm sorry.
I mailed it to you.
I didn't see it.
It's been in the drop, it's in the Dropbox on that.
It's the one that Dave and them created a couple weeks ago. I thought you said it was good.
Just a demand letter direct.
Oh, that one, oh,
Yes.
no, okay, I was.
That's
thinking
the one,
something
yes, no,
else.
this is the demand letter. I didn't want to do it without everybody had reading it and
Oh, okay,
approve it.
yeah,
So I'd look for a motion to approve and send that.
I'll make a motion to approve and send the letter to Cedar Creek Township.
second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Park items, name change, iPad switch. So, this has been a little bit of a topic. We incorporated in 1996, 95. 1995. And so that's 30 years ago. That park was named in 1995
Leo-Cedarville Park.
Leo-Cedarville Park. So 30 years, it's been named one thing, and now it's changed. Dave, would you like to speak on this? You don't have to.
Yeah, no. So I think the understanding would be why we made the change.
David,
Yeah.
I hate to.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
vlogging, it's just seen on camera, sorry.
So the reason we changed it, started with, and then as I researched it more, in trying to change the name to Cedarville Park, which we approved a while back.
When was that?
Pardon?
When was that, Dave?
What?
When did you approve it?
November of 2021?
June of 2022.
Yeah, 22. Recently, Janet did not get the change on maps, and it came up as one of the issues when we changed the sign and it went on Facebook or whatever. And so I went to the task of trying to see what it takes to change it on maps.
We don't care about maps. How did we get to the name change?
Because the maps, people were getting lost. Okay, so Riverside Gardens on maps, which would be Google and Apple, which are the two main sources, was known as Leo-Cedarville Park Trails. This is Riverside Gardens. So in Riverside Gardens, Leo-Cedarville Park Trails, 1. 2, Leo Park Concert Stadium. If you Googled, that would come up. 3, Riverside Gardens, Leo-Cedarville. So it was known as Riverside Garden Leo-Cedarville Park on Google. Riverside, and then 4, Riverside Park, which is new because they just put up all new signs.
It's a shortening now, so I did address that.
Yeah.
So it's Riverside Gardens Park is the actual name.
Right.
They didn't have enough room to put it on the signage for the trail system.
Now it's Riverside
So
Park.
let's change it to Riverside Park.
So then Cedarville Park is on Apple Maps as Cedarville Town Park. So like the town of Cedarville Park, which there's no town of Cedarville, and Imagination Station, which it's there, and also Leo-Cedarville Park. So we had people trying to get to events at parks, and if you do look at the Facebook posts that went on Leo Grayville site, which is interesting, couple people said, yes, we tried to go to an event and got lost, and my daughter was crying at Cedarville Park when she was supposed to be over there at Riverside Gardens. So we just said, let's get this cleared up, since there's now 2 parks. So the history of it was made Leo-Cedarville Park at the time of the zoning change. Prior to that, for over 100 years probably, it was Cedarville Park. So, so we said, let's go back to the historical name, and that's why we picked Cedarville Park.
It's actually officially known as Town Square on all.
Yeah, so it's also Town Square, and then the history of it was they tried to make it Allen County's courthouse. I mean, so anyway, all we were doing is trying to clarify it and simplify. And Dirk is not able to be here, but he said in our master plan, when we did our master plan, the consultant said, you guys need to simplify your parks. And the town of Leo is confusing, and it is. It's Leo-Cedarville, it's Cedarville Elementary, it's Cedarville Reservoir, it's Leo High School, it's Leo, and that was a consultant advice to us to simplify it. So for us now, if you Google Leo-Cedarville Parks, I'm going to tell you what comes up for Google because we've changed it. Cedarville Park shows the location of the property. Riverside Gardens shows the location of the property.
So,
And that's why we did it.
well, so what I'm hearing by it was an easy change. We didn't have to change the name. You could have just fixed the maps and Safari and all that. How many people was at the meeting in June?
Enough to vote it in.
3.
There was a quorum.
A 3.
Well, it's a quorum.
I understand. So the other 2 didn't get part of. Did you guys poll our community? Did you think about that?
Well, we did through the master plan, which was the one that said simplify it.
But
And
the
then-
master plan that he has, it says Leo-Cedarville Park.
Well,
We
right.
rented it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys have a park board for a reason, right? We make decisions every day. We had a meeting last night, which by the way, I invited everyone that negative or positive on this Facebook thing that got everybody all excited. Okay, I invited every one of them to come invite their input. We had 3 people here that were saying, yeah, Cedarville Park sounds great. Why doesn't it sound great? Now, I understand Tyler brought up the question of it being some work for her and him and Angela.
It's not gonna be. If there's work, the park board's doing it.
Well, we'll do it.
These 2 are not doing it.
Well, we'll do it.
It looks like to me that, we didn't poll the public, we didn't do all that, that this is a personal agenda and it got done and pushed through in June of '22.
A personal agenda of whose?
Well, the 3 of you on the park board, they didn't talk to nobody else, that's what it looks like.
Okay,
I'm telling you what it looks like.
okay, well, let me tell you what it was. We had 3 months that we went through this process. Okay, Tyler was on the park board. Now,
Greg,
he
did you
says
know
he
about
wasn't
this?
active- No, it was 3 months of park board meetings.
No,
Okay.
maybe this would be a good time to start publishing your minutes and when.
Well,
And
okay.
when your meetings are gonna.
I will tell you this, Greg, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Dirk and I talked last night after our meeting. We have a major communication problem between our park board, between Janet and you guys as her body, and with Tyler, who is the town manager, who is really her boss, in our opinion, overseeing what she's doing. And we've got to correct that, clearly. And if that would have been in place, you guys would have known, and I guess you wouldn't have said, well, yeah, it kind of makes sense to call the traditional Cedarville Park of our ancestors, or we wouldn't have put Leo-Cedarville in the name to begin with.
30 years ago, we incorporated, we become one.
Yeah, but
So that means,
1858, they developed the town of Cedarville.
Dave, when you drive your car, how big is your windshield?
What do you mean?
It's huge, isn't it? How big is your rear view mirror? Small, it's behind you. You don't need to see so much behind you. You gotta look forward, dude. And it's been one thing for 30 years, we can't think about 1858.
Okay, all I know, Scott, is you're making it a personal issue.
No, I haven't commented on social media, said nothing.
Okay, did you read the comments on social media?
Dave,
There was one guy that said something crazy that got countered. As soon as I put in an explanation of why, people were
I'm gonna ask another question here. How much taxpayer money did we spend in changing names?
0.
So signage?
The reason that it takes so long is the signage was gonna be $300 a piece, And I said, I have a volunteer that will do it. The guy took 6 months to get back to me, didn't. Now another Nucor made these metal things that are on the sign now.
Okay.
The metal signs for
So
free.
they were donated?
He donated.
Okay.
I put time in it, he put time in it. And it's unfortunate, it's gonna create some work, but we talked last night about a remedy to that with Tyler. Talked to the attorneys, put in a statement that these parks are AKA, so it covers insurance or whatever else is out there.
Really, the biggest work from what I've talked to the insurance today, or talking to the attorneys today, their response is really that the biggest thing is going to make sure all our insurances, all our financial documents that reference that are correctly done. And unfortunately, it's going to fall on Angela's office to do that. They said we don't need a resolution to backdate it or to say going forward this is going to be, their vote should be enough, is what David Bailey told me today. And I have to believe that. I don't, Tim, do you have?
What did you
They have no reason to lie to us.
No, I have to believe it. So David Bailey stated today in an email that we don't have to do a resolution or any kind of ordinance, making sure that all past documents that we're referencing Leo-Cedarville Park are updated to the new name. Do we need to do anything in that way, shape, or form that says anything made specifically for Leo-Cedarville Park going forward is now Cedarville Park? Do we have to do anything like that as part of the ordinance?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And you said 3 were there. We had 3 meetings, 5 were there, 3 were there, 5 were there,
But it all falls back to communication.
Well-
There's very minimal, nobody knew about it. That's the problem, not the name.
Well, look at the history of this body. I mean, we finally got somebody that's really putting things together we haven't had.
But we've had the park board, and there's been a lot of you guys on there that have been here a long, long time and should be helping communicate before he was here, why he's here.
Not before assuming that your staff does.
Wait a
That's
minute,
wrong.
wait a minute. We've had a town council here for a long time, and the town council is basically the big brother to the parks,
Yep.
okay? So this is the first time in 4, 5, 6, 7 years that I've seen somebody from the park board at one of our meetings.
And we do appreciate that.
We do appreciate you showing up because, we're getting some explanation at least because this is only the second time I've heard anything about this. Was like a half hour before I sent you that picture that I sent to you, and I told you, what I told you in the text message, I just kind of have these visions sometime of things happening with ramifications. That's why I thought I'd convey that to you. So, we've had
But the communication's both ways.
we've had,
I mean, I know the communication's both ways. If you have a question, you can call me, and Dirk is a communicator.
I didn't have a question. I didn't have a question.
Oh,
I made a statement.
right.
Right, there's a big difference.
But the
So the
statement
thing
has
is,
an answer.
there's been a town council here, so you guys could have been showing up a lot more.
Well, I've never known that it
So
was a request.
we could have had our attorneys involved in this. We could have had all kinds of different things I'm thinking about right now, going through my head, that I don't need to share, that could have probably made this a smoother transition for you and for us, because
And that's
you think you're the only one that gets calls?
Right,
Everyone setting up here just about gets calls.
that's how it works, yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to work that way, though.
Well, no, but here's what I told Tyler the other day. I said, if you make a good decision, you guys have made a lot of good decisions, right? Has there always been people that complain, no matter if it's a good decision or not? You're gonna have some complaints, and this is that Facebook thing, was one guy said something, then everyone else that jumped in, wow, that makes a lot of sense, and then they go, oh, well, now that I see the answer,
I've seen
it
more
makes
than
sense.
one. I'm not even on Facebook.
Well, I understand, no, we get it,
They're getting phone
Right.
calls, we're all getting
But
stuff.
that's just, that's just human nature.
But
I
if
know,
we're back
it's
to
just hard.
communication, you nailed it on the head. If we'd have been prepared for it, it wouldn't have been as bad, is what
Right.
we're trying to get across.
Right.
I'm trying to come to more park board meetings. I'm trying to go to sewer board meetings because I feel as the town council president, I need to know what's going on Nobody comes to these, so I'm gonna go to theirs and learn and try to get some education.
So within the ordinance, just to be clear, the ordinance states that the park board is supposed to have at least once a year automatically show up with a full report of what's
Right.
going on within their business. I can tell you that's not happened in the last 3 years that I'm aware of.
I've
Obviously,
never seen it, never.
So that is within the ordinance, that is within the code that's written. I think it'd be fair that if you guys are really interested in what's going on, that we invite them at least quarterly. I can tell you that things move slow on the park board, they only meet once a month, and really for them to develop a decision, it's gonna take them 2 or 3 meetings.
We just said 3 months.
Yeah, so every quarter, if they come, but I'm saying if they come it does, it takes, I mean, this decision started in November of 21 and it ended technically in July of 22. Although I don't remember much conversation in between there, but that's the time frame in which the original conversation happened and the end of it.
Were you on the park board?
I was.
He was.
Do you remember?
I remember the November meeting, and I remember tabling it in a November meeting because we didn't have enough personnel there to.
Dirk wasn't there.
Well, there was only 3 of us there that night, and I didn't
But
want
you
to.
had a quorum though, didn't you?
We did, but I didn't want to take it on as
Especially the first time.
I
right.
could have your job, couldn't I?
Absolutely good.
Am I
You're learning.
I'm learning.
So
You can become president again if you don't show
I
up.
was not there. I was not there in the June meeting or the July meeting. And when I was on park board, that was the 2 meetings I typically missed
Right.
just because of family travel schedule.
Right.
So
Neither Dirk or I would
You don't
ever,
remember voting?
would ever
I do not
not
remember voting.
accept
Okay.
a request to come before you guys.
Does anybody got anything else for Dave? Thank you for coming.
And the only thing I would say to you, Scott, you made a statement about this, the biggest expense, or I forget, I wrote it down. But your parks are the biggest asset to this community and the biggest light of the community. So
We're not arguing that, that's why they're there 90%.
Right.
But 90's too much.
Right.
We gotta figure out a balance. This gentleman back here is way too high paid to be in the park that much. You know, so do we can't have him in there. We need some lower paid people or part-time or something. I agree.
volunteers.
I think the whole board should be the volunteers.
I feel time, so let's
I like the sounds of that. Park board volunteers.
Thank you.
I'll make your proposal. I should have done it last night. I think that the park board should, especially in the fall, especially for Cedarville, or Leo-Cedarville Park, whatever you want to call it, that every one of you board members come up with a volunteer each, and yourselves, and if all of you show up there, I will show up on my own personal time, off the clock, to help out, so we can take the load off of, you guys don't have the expense on the maintenance side. You know, just the big fall cleanup that's my proposal. I'll give my own time, and the new guy coming in tomorrow, I would just about guarantee he would also volunteer his time. So that's a proposal.
Well, as bad as Janet is on communication, I'm gonna agree with you guys totally on that, and Dirk and I talked about it again last night. She is huge on volunteer time. She pulls weeds at Riverside every year. Nobody else here is pulling weeds. I mean, she does huge stuff volunteer. Angela,
I help her.
I can do weeds.
She does, she did help with,
I'm just saying, the stuff you guys do outside that, and we'll just work on it.
well, and the rock thing, I mean, all that was wonderful for our parks and our
Easter
community.
egg hunt Saturday.
Yeah.
Volunteer.
Forget it.
So it all boils down to that,
I
yeah.
hire him part-time to most storage units.
Him? On Saturday and Sunday, yes. You won't like his rate.
It goes up.
Yeah, private rate's a lot different.
All right, Shell Station.
Second half of that one.
iPad switch.
iPad.
Nobody cares about an iPad.
All right, pass.
Go ahead.
So the town bought 3 iPads through our Verizon plan a year-ish ago, year and a half, right at a year. So in monitoring the data and what's going on, the park iPad does not appear to be getting used much at all. The reason the intended use of it was as we took everything digital, that they could fill out digital forms on site, take digital payments on site if they were down doing a showing, that kind of thing. Well, that's not panning out, but we would like to see that pad move over to the maintenance guys, they're in the shed over there, the barn over there. They don't have internet other than Brian's phone. To give a place of work service where they could come back to, work on it, do that kind of stuff, send emails, check emails, and it'd be a local place for that to happen.
Just need a consensus.
Just
So, that sounds wonderful, but when, do we have a plan to get digital? I agree, I think that we need to have both. Some people wanna call in, some wanna go on and fill out and sign up.
I don't want to throw the park board any farther under the bus, but when we brought it up the last time, there was a hesitation. They liked the idea of the physical talk. People come in, dropping contracts off, that kind of stuff. And the move digital was not fully dismissed, but not open, except with open arms.
I think, we're back to the generational stuff where some don't wanna mow yards, some don't want land. Some of us want all the property we can get, just can't afford it. Yeah, and so I think that's still true about rentals. There will be 50% that don't want to talk to nobody, and there'll be 50% that will only rent if they talk to somebody. I think we could capture more rentals, and I think we could do a better job
The
with
new
it.
website has that ability to do form fill. So from that perspective, it could be a change going forward that we could easily implement.
Dave, what's your thoughts on all that?
I have no thoughts. I'm gonna be Robin.
I just, like I said, we brought it up I was trying to push really hard on it, and I backed off after I met with the park board because there was a large hesitation to move that direction.
Well, I don't think we should just slam it through.
No, I was trying to say, hey, we need to get the ball rolling, we need to start moving forms that way. You know, my goal was by the end of the year to have at least an online presence that could do the form fill, that kind of stuff. And I would even like to see it go one step farther once the website's up and running, where they can physically fill out the information right on the website. Never have to talk to anybody if they don't want to. I know that there is some conversation from the park board that if they call in and they have to talk to somebody, that you can offer an alternate date, and that offers some sale capability. But I'm of the other. If I can just go online and punch it in and be done with it, I'm gonna go on and punch a line and be done.
Well, and that's it. My daughter-in-law was looking to get it for her baby shower, and she's like, I can't find it.
Yeah.
How do I know what's available? I said, you have to wait till she's in here, and then you have to call or stop in, and that generation's like, why?
Yeah, they're impatient. They want to do it right now.
Well, that's it. If it's available on the day they want to secure it.
Well, I know an older generation that has online scheduling. You can go in there and pick the day you want. And,
Oh, you figured it out?
well, no, I was talking about somebody else.
Oh, I thought you meant Greg's haircuts.
That works perfectly.
And in reality, the new website will have the ability to have multiple calendars. You can click between park to whatever and fill out. See, we don't have to put the actual rental. We can put available or not available.
Yeah.
We can do all that stuff on there. We don't have to put the people's name out there. We don't do any of that. But I think that would create some clarity. And then put on the website, hey, look, if it's not available, reach out. Talk to us. We have options. We'll work with you to get you in place.
I just think we could capture more.
Yes.
And have it, full better. And that's the goal.
Simplicity's a great deal.
Yes.
Janet takes huge pride.
I know.
in selling that and filling those dates. I mean, huge, and that's a cool thing to have an employee do. I mean, she's like trying to get it full, fill every day, fill weekdays. I mean, that's.
But my daughter-in-law was looking at going somewhere else over this because, so we could be losing some. Without a doubt, Janet's very passionate about her role.
Yeah.
And that's great. So, everybody okay with the iPad switching over?
Oh, I'm sorry, general consensus, yeah, I brought that up. Yes.
Okay.
Tyler, feel free.
We'll make that happen.
Shell station.
So the Shell station, we met with their attorney, Mr. Stuckey out there, and the gas station owner, Mr. Grimmel. We proposed two options. Option one, they rip out the installed section, and it goes back to grass, or he puts in bollards, both under his expense. Sorry, I do have an example. It's in here. I forgot it was even there. Sorry. Is that under what's the name of that? Overview now.
2025-1-23 exhibit.
There it is. Thank you. Greg, look at that, you're killing it. So, let's see if it's clear. So this is, the building sits right here. This is adding bollards to here, to the drain, and then a section down the middle. At last conversation, which was yesterday, we were sending that over with the cost estimate to Mr. Gamel and his attorney, and they were in favor of doing this proposal. I have not officially heard back through David. I don't know if you guys had any conversation. I did not see an email come in yet as of today that they've accepted it. I'll talk, Derek and I talked. The price came back a little bit higher than I thought it was going to, but to be honest, like we talked, I'd rather see it a little bit higher than a little bit low and they get surprised. So this will all be at his cost. If he decides to not go this route, then we'll have to get our attorneys involved even further and probably either remove it or install it and then somehow back charge him for that. So to be fair, we own the property that's outlined in blue on this. The gas station does not. We bought it during the trail acquisition process. And this is really, if you go down there and look, the tracks on it are heavy. I have pictures. For several weeks I got pictures daily of trucks and vehicles sitting on our trail. And it's not safe to have kids or anybody else on it, in particular as we get into summertime. So.
For sure. I mean, it was used as a parking spot before, and that's the problem.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we need to make sure.
And he
it's
was,
known.
I mean, to my understanding, it was clear on what the design was gonna be when we purchased the property and what it looked like. It just didn't work when he got it in there, and I think he just thought he would take care of it, and it's not working out that way.
Anybody got any questions for Tyler on that? Thank you, Tyler.
You just want me to go down through my town area report then?
We got the golf cart registration. Is that
Yeah,
on there?
that's
Is
on
that,
there.
I think
No, that's on
Angela's dying to speak on it.
That's on my town area report.
That's Andrew.
I think you two ought to come to the front.
So, Derek has maps for Lakes of Leo here tonight of the road and the estimated cost. He has 10 copies for us here. You want to talk, Derek?
Eric, you're just always a lot of fun.
Well, I'm happy you feel that way.
Although this needs to be addressed.
This is just information. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we went out, we painted
you.
markings on the roadway.
There's a lot.
Basically, this is just memorializing the stuff that we marked out on the roadway. And then we put together an opinion cost of what those improvements would entail. And this is just for your information. As I mentioned at the last meeting, it's like peeling layers of an onion. Depending on after you take the top layer off, you're not really sure what you're going to get down below. So this budget is, it's got some contingency built into it. Give us some flexibility depending on what's discovered. Should the town choose to move forward with the project to fix the roadways there in Lakes of Leo.
Now, we just talked about a budget cut.
So this is a comprehensive way at addressing those roadways. You don't, it's all about serviceability of life paving system. You can go in there and you could just mill the surface off and you could repave over the top of it.
It's gonna happen again,
And
you know that.
It basically it would buy you some time.
That's not the way
But
to do it.
I don't want to call it throwaway money, but it'd be more of a 7 to 10 year fix than a
So, Tyler,
long-term fix.
or Derek, do we have any repercussion for faulty roads when they were installed, if they turn out to be?
So I'd have to go back. I think the last section that was put in is probably still within the maintenance bond period.
Really close right now. We're on
Yeah.
the tail end of it.
But
That's the
fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective, all those roadways are actually in pretty decent shape in the last section. It's the first two sections and I think the villas that are having the most problem.
What do you propose, Tyler?
Well, I think that we need to probably go out there. I would argue that as you come in Leo Creek Creek, you go around the corner there, as that tapers down to Annabelle Place, which is the first crossroad. I know we have a major water issue there coming out from underneath the road. I think we need to probably explore at least that section in particular. I don't know of any others that has that particular exact problem, but I think if we remove that water from underneath the roadway, we're gonna see exponentially help the rest of the road system, the more water you get out from underneath the road section. So, and I don't know, it's not broken out that way. I'm assuming we can take bids against that and figure out where we fall, or you guys can do a cost estimate on putting like a K line underneath that, 50 feet up to a V or something like that to carry that water away.
Yeah, I mean, the next step is for you and I to take this
Yep.
and go through and have a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to probably sit down with Angela, we'll establish at least a budget line at which we think we can come out of our budget.
Oh, that was my next question to
Are
her.
you or CCMGs this year?
There is one, no, we just missed the application.
The second round, I think the call is gonna be July-ish, somewhere in there. Yeah, so there'll be a second call.
Can we get in on that?
Yep, and so we will wanna double check to make sure this is in your street inventory that was submitted. I'm sure it
Should
will
be.
Yeah.
It should,
Should be.
I'm about 90% confident it was. I remember some of the talk about that was already in there. So we were adding different mileage for right now.
Gotcha.
I guess phase 3 may not have been, I guess we need to make sure Leonis and Virgo are. That's the phase 3 section
The
of that.
phase 3 stuff, I don't think there's much in there.
Because it hasn't been long enough.
Well, to be honest,
Well, there seems to be better
there you go.
drainage, the sloping of the roads and so on.
I hate to be Mr. Obvious sometimes, but you know.
After they messed
Well,
up the first two, they figured it out.
So I can
pretty
tell you
good.
from a county perspective, the county came out and did proof rolling, where we're seeing the biggest fails or areas they identified that we were gonna see fails. Those almost match up like perfectly over the top of each other when you put those down. But to go back, I'm assuming we'd have to core, see what their actual remediation was done, if it matches what the county suggested doing or not. This is one of those places where we probably should have had our own inspectors on site a lot more for this property. We didn't, so now we reap the benefits.
So I think if you two could maybe do what you suggested, unless someone else has a better idea. Try to figure out the worst spots and see what it would take to
Right.
get them straightened up at least. They deserve a nice road,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's just gonna keep getting worse.
Yeah, I
We're gonna
know.
have a mess.
especially with the water.
Probably 2 more winters, I would think that at least that section of Leo Run, or the entrance there. is
There,
gonna be-
to Annabelle Place, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
You're
done.
gonna do that in the next year.
And it's gonna go up in 2 more years to
Yeah,
cost
oh,
to
yeah,
repair.
20, yes. So
So-
300 is gonna be 500,000 in 2 years.
Wait a minute. So if we develop Amstutz, we could probably get some patchwork done as part of it. Hey, old buddy. Hey, old buddy.
This is working out.
Yeah, that's what. Maybe the surveys department can throw a little chunk in, or what can we get here? I think let's pick the worst ones that really need repaired. And if you guys can identify those and get us.
And then we get knocked out, get some dollars signed against
Yeah.
it. And maybe it is, we go against a CCMG and try to get the whole thing done at once. I don't know.
That's a good idea. I just don't think about that for a road that's only 3 years old.
Yeah, so, but.
Thank you, Angela, for bringing that up.
Thanks.
So I'm just gonna finish going down my list here. The golf cart ordinance was well received. We have many positive comments. Actually, people are coming in pretty regularly to get their stickers and get things squared away. What we're looking for tonight is days on timing. I don't know if that affects you guys or if that's something that we need to work out with Andrew and just make it happen on a Saturday. And we'd like to do probably a Saturday and an evening on this side of the river and at least a Saturday on the other side of the river, since I don't want to see them come around Swartz to St. Joe to.
I seen it this week,
I know.
yesterday. They're coming down, they did that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
So if you guys don't care, we can work within the office here to get some dates set. It might be nice if you guys are available on some of those to get an extra face out here too. Really, it's going to be between us getting our schedules meshed and making it happen.
Would you like to show the wonderful stickers?
No, you're making fun of them. So in coordination with Town of Grable, we were trying to make this as simple as possible, because we are coordinating our ordinances, rules and regulations between the two towns. I ordered my stickers after Town of Grable did. They were supposed to be green. They printed them black. Courier said they would reprint these in the green color to match as we are trying to coordinate the two colors. Do you guys mind? Do you have an opinion? Do we want to just go 1 year with 2 different colors? Next year we can coordinate, up to you guys. I told the courier I would not talk to you.
Do we have to do a vision test, please?
You can't see green in his colorblind.
Brian, could you conduct that vision test for him, please?
Take care of it.
Thank you.
I'll get back.
All right,
Are you guys fine?
that mine will be on the roof.
Right, yeah.
Amazon has a golf cart conversion kit, have you seen that? For $50.
Yep. I know.
Turn signals, horn, everything.
The guy just bought one back here. He's putting it on. He's super. He's like, oh, I went.
That's where I got mine.
Yeah. Well, he's like, you know, we never had.
I got
need
mine.
it, We're gonna do it. So,
Yeah.
you know. So if you guys don't care on a date, we'll set a date, set a couple dates, work with Andrew, make sure we're all good, and then we'll just set dates and move forward. We need to get a communication out to our residents because they come in, like I said, daily now and are asking, hey, how do I get this? When can I come up here? What do I gotta do? So
We definitely need to get some dates and get them advertised,
the other part of my report, so just so you know, our part-time person resigned about a week ago. We would like to have the approval to go ahead and put forth a part-time position to get filled to help alleviate some of Brian in the park. We figured it out.
Brian or maintenance Brian?
Con.
Maintenance, Brian.
Maintenance Brian.
MB?
Yep. So, even if right now, if we don't hire anybody, we're looking at our 2 maintenance guys probably in the park, 50 plus hours, just mowing, or mowing just 50 plus hours between all the properties that we have, all the way out. We actually are responsible for mowing out, Hostler to Halter and down Halter. That's all our property. Luckily our neighbors have been mowing that for us. But if it comes down to it, they're worth too much. We're not doing our street maintenance. We're not doing our other maintenance if we keep them on the mower all the time. So that's the reason I would request the permission to go ahead and put that position forth. We're looking at less than 24 hours a week. This would be a part-time position truly. We are looking to keep them on year round, probably some winter work. If we need plowing, that kind of stuff, help, they would be able to come in, help offset that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bored, but I'd like to see more like 20 in the winter, guaranteed, and then maybe work them up to whatever they feel comfortable with your
So
approval.
we're actually looking at doing a max of 12, what was that number?
1240.
40 hours for a year for this person. And that's what, if you guys are gonna make a motion, I would recommend that you guys cap it at 1240. And then that way we can utilize them as we see fit. They may work 5 days in the summer 1 week, and then they may not turn around, as long as we can do it legally, that's my goal.
Yeah.
So if we have to work them more during the summer, we can do it. If we need to make some tweaks to the handbook and all that stuff, I don't think we will. It's written in such a way we won't have to do that, so.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 1,240 hours for a part-time worker for Leo-Cedarville.
Thank you, Greg.
Maintenance.
I'll second.
Oh, thanks you, Council Brian.
Hey, you're welcome there, Councilman Scott.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any discussion about this position? I've talked to Tyler about it already, so I'm very clear. Does anybody got anything? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye.
The second half of that is we have a potential for an intern. We had a gentleman reach out from the Leo community looking for an intern position. We do have a couple projects that through Stormwater Board. One would be the GIS mapping all the commercial businesses in town and making sure their square footages match what we're actually taxing for. I can tell you 2 or 3 that don't. So I don't know what that position looks like yet. It just came up like on Monday.
People, man.
But we know we're not accurate.
Mine are good.
Are you sure?
Better be.
That's debatable, Greg.
Yeah. So, I mean, and Derek said, you know, obviously we can hire through him to get an intern to do it. We're gonna be paying ERI intern prices, or we can bring a kid in here. I don't even know what that number looks like. I've never hired an intern. I didn't have time to reach out to Derek to really figure out what they pay. This would be a lot of clerical work, but I would like to be able to bring it back to you guys next meeting with a good, clear move forward, and I'd like to reach out and talk to this individual to make sure they'd be a fit for.
Does anybody have any issues with that?
When's the start date?
So it'd be as soon as school gets out, so basically it'd be pretty quick right after our next meeting. It'd be like May 15th into May.
Everybody's for it.
All right. The last thing that's on my list here is the discuss of purchase of a Kubota RTV. So I did some legwork today. It was in our budget. We had $65,000 to purchase a truck this year. And talking to Brian, we don't feel like that is going to be the most bang for our buck right now. We have all these trails that we need to maintain this winter. We have downtown area that we need to maintain. I talked about this I think it was in January, I was looking at doing this. So I did a bunch of legwork, reached out to a couple different companies, called Moore's Farm Equipment here in Fort Wayne. Their cost for a machine was $37,561. That's the newest machine that's out there. I reached out to a different company in Bern. They can get us a machine at $32,538, which is $200 less than the quote I had last time. But we had a $5,000 trade for our current UTV. My recommendation is that we keep our current UTV, keep one on this side of the river this summer, one on the other side of the river for use in the parks there, and one on this side to buzz around, take care of trails, do that kind of work. So my recommendation is that we purchase the 32,538 from Affolter Equipment out of Bern. That
What's
comes
the
with.
difference between the two?
You're gonna lie. So the newest version comes with tilt down sides for the bed and high beam, low beam headlights. That's the difference.
Do we need the tilt down?
I don't think so. There's a dump bed. This has a dump bed on it, but this actually, the side rails fold down. I don't think we need it. I've been around this equipment for a lot of years. It fits a pallet in the tail end of it.
The only way you need it is if your bed's so big, you gotta push another pallet clear to the front. They're nice to take off the side, and that's it.
Right.
But this is a utility vehicle.
Right.
It won't have that. So.
That seems like a lot.
And it comes with, so let's be honest, the 32,538 does come with a V-Boss, 6 foot 6 inch V plow and a V-Box spreader on the back. So it'll be able to salt, it'll be able to do.
Yeah, but that also kind of hurts the trails if they're too wide. I mean, that current one's almost too wide.
6 foot 6 will take it back to right at 5 foot. So everything we have going forward should be at least 8 foot that we're going to put it on. The only exception would be this out here, and that's why we have the Snow Raider. To be honest, it's going to probably dispatch out of here this winter and go from here to the parks and downtown to the plaza. So it tails back right at, it's just over, it's like 5 foot 4 inches. Not I've ran this equipment a lot, so I know the dimensions and stuff.
What are your thoughts on like a Polaris Ranger over
So the problem I've seen with Polaris Rangers is they're too light.
Okay.
They just don't have the beef this year. Well, I think it's like a 2,800 pound payload capacity in the rear end of it.
Yeah.
It is a hydraulic. I came from Parkview. Parkview ran 3 of these.
Mm-hmm.
Our last machine had 45 or 46,000 when I left, and had 6,000 hours on the engine.
That's why it's $8,000 more. All right.
So, so
Not get that out of a Ranger.
Yeah.
the last UTV we spec'd out, actually, I'm the one that did it, and we went over to
Gravely.
It's a
Gravely, yes. And they're just basically a Polaris frame, but they all have metal and they're beefed up. They're for construction sites.
Gotcha.
So
Just curious.
So our Gravely all winter long when we were plowing the trail, it would overheat.
oh,
It's
It's not a good.
it's not a good fit for what it is.
Maintenance, Brian.
One issue with the Gravely, I haven't dug deeply into it yet, but it has not really been maintained maintained properly, probably since the day it was new.
No, I'm positive.
And I'm gonna say it's probably had about 4 oil changes in it since then, if that. So, realistically, for no more than we could get trade-in, I think it's valuable to just keep it here until it dies and then send it to OmniSource. But, until then, I think it's still usable.
And if we take it out of the hard use, we're gonna extend its life.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the
and
intent.
realistically, with what he's looking at is, it's the difference between buying a John Deere from Home Depot or going to the John Deere dealer and buying a John Deere. There's a huge difference, you know? So you're looking at, you're kind of comparing apples and.
So this is all the money you got for the year. You understand that?
I told you there's gonna be spilled milk.
Well, I'm just telling you that what you got in your line item is what you got. And that you think this is what's needed.
I think it is probably more needed than a brand new pickup.
I forget the pickup. What you got in that line item is what you got for the year.
F40. Yep.
Am I wrong?
No, I'm happy with this, it's way less than what I budgeted to spend.
Well, I know, but there's a lot of needs, I believe, that we're gonna have still
I had
come
to write it at
up.
the bottom.
I mean, we're just in April.
On the back of it, so.
Well, realistically,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
just bought a lot of new equipment stuff last year, so we should have a need for a lot.
I mean, realistically,
I'm very clear on that.
I mean, you've used it greatly. It is
So I just
not the
wanted to-
ideal piece of
Oh, I'm not here to argue that for a second. I'm just asking you, do you feel spending 33,000 on this is
So, and
what's needed the most for maintenance?
I would say this is a very good choice for this year.
Okay.
And to be honest, Brian's gonna be very intimately, because it's like another $1,000 to have, between 500 and 1,000 to have them install the plow and the V-Box. It's just wiring. We have 2 guys fully capable of doing that within our room now. There's no reason why we should hire that out, in my opinion.
If not, we'll send Seamus over.
Yep.
Oh, thanks.
He's gonna wire it?
Yep.
Not the, okay. no.
So, is what you're saying is you're looking for up to a $33,000
Correct.
approval
Correct.
for your Kubota?
Yep.
That's what I thought you were saying.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve $32,538 not to exceed to,
Just do up to 33 if you would, please.
I just wanna make sure my math is exactly right.
okay. I'll make a motion, we approve $33,000 not to exceed for a piece of equipment that is the RTV-X1 1100 CWH base price from Half-Holder Implement Sales and Burn.
We have a motion on the floor up to $33,000 for Kubota.
I'll second that.
Seamus is given a second. I know we've had a lot of discussion. Do we have anything further we would like to discuss?
Nothing from me.
Okay, thanks.
You got a roll call?
Yep, I just want to make sure you're okay.
Just so we're clear, this does have turn signals, headlights, taillights.
Okay, since that's gonna have a sticker.
$25 for a sticker.
Yeah.
I'd like the first sticker.
All right, roll call vote. Greg?
Aye.
Rob? I'm an aye as well. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
Nothing else on my manager
Everybody-
report.
We start with you and away we go.
I saw his lips move.
Yeah. So the only last thing we have is miscellaneous, Mr. Frucci tonight. If you
Sorry you had to,
endure that.
we don't normally go 2 hours.
There we go. Well, I'll try to give the county surveyor update and
We do appreciate it.
quickly, if I can. I had spoken to Tyler about floodplain administration, as it's been on my mind for a while, but I didn't have the capacity to really take it on until we got through all our ARPA design last year. And you get dumped with like $16 million worth of work, when you're used to putting out $1 or $2 million, it overtaxes the staff. Which I was blessed that the commissioners gave me that much out of the $72 million they got. We are doing projects all around the county that needed to be done for 25 years or more. So that's awesome, but you know, building is a lot easier than designing it, okay? But floodplain administration is I hear complaints about it all the time. For 2 years, I've heard constant complaints from many different entities. There'd be developers or real estate people or state representatives, and floodplain administration really needs to go with whoever the engineering group is that is doing the stormwater review. It's part of stormwater. It's integrated in that. And so as I'm doing the stormwater quantity review with our hydrologists on staff, the quality review to meet the item rules, this is like the third leg of that stool. But it's presided with the Department of Planning Services for about 30 years, with the exception of you guys were doing your own, and New Haven was doing their own. Okay, and so I talked to the commissioners and said, hey, I have the capacity to take this on now. I'm a certified floodplain manager. I see it as part of our mission with stormwater, and I think I can do a good job at it and solve some of these concerns that I've listened to for pretty solidly 2 years. And I said, and they supported me in that, and so we moved down the pathway of doing unincorporated Allen County, and got the DNR an expedited review of the floodplain, a new floodplain ordinance. Plan Commission this month is repealing the existing floodplain regulations from the zoning ordinance for the county, and those two things will marry at a commissioners meeting on May 2nd for an effective date of June 2nd, where I'll take over floodplain administration for unincorporated Allen County. Now, there are 4 smaller cities and towns that fall under the zoning ordinance: Monroeville, Woodburn, Grable, and Huntertown. And you guys do not, but I reached out to Tyler and said, would you like us to take that over? We're already doing the other stormwater review for you. It wouldn't be any cost to you. It'd be part of our mission. I'm elected by all of you guys, not just the unincorporated Allen County. All of you vote for me. And our mission is to help with stormwater. And we have expertise in this area, and I think we do a pretty good job. And so, got great staff. So I reached out to Tyler. Completely up to you, much like we had a discussion last year on the regulated drains, and you guys govern yourselves and you decide what the best course forward is. I'm just saying we can be helpful and take some tasks from you that might be burdensome, and Tyler felt like he would support this. There was an also new requirement coming in on July 1st for floodplain administrators to have certain training. That state law went into effect a couple years ago. So we're going down this pathway. And I'm visiting a lot of these smaller towns and cities to say, if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any concerns, I think it'll be smooth. We're working with the DNR hand in hand with them, with the planning people, and with some other experts. I sit on the Maumee River Basin Commission. I'm elected president for this year. I work with Rodney Reichenberger, and we do, again, work throughout the basin to help with flooding and protect people's structures and everything. So do you have any questions about the floodplain as well? Like I've got maps that I gave to Tyler that give your corporate limits and then the FEMA floodplain designations within those. So as people develop in those, they again come under some requirements. If they have a mortgage, they have to get flood insurance. That's the federal law, right? And you currently have not very many policies, but 3 policies from residents in your jurisdiction that cost them about a total of $5,600 a year in premiums. It's just quite expensive, for flood insurance, but they're required to do it if they have a mortgage. The same thing with the gentleman developing the property. Whoever owned that property would be required to get flood insurance if they had a mortgage, because that's again a federal requirement. The thing that we may entertain later, Tyler, is if you guys would like to be in the CRS system for the National Flood Insurance Program, we could do that paperwork pretty easily and really count the same tasks that we are doing for the rest of the county for Leo-Cedarville. We could potentially get these property owners, again, there's only 3 of them right now, that have mandatory flood insurance, that buy flood insurance, but we could get them maybe up to a 15% discount on that. Through filing the right paperwork for the CRS system as part of the National Flood Insurance Program. So does that all make sense? And but it would be, again, we're helping people, which is what I like to do if I can. But I think this is, we're willing to take it on, and we have the capacity to do it, and, I think, hopefully you've enjoyed working with the surveyor's office when you've interacted with us. I think we've got a good staff that tries to help, all the residents as we can in smaller towns and communities.
Right, so we have to pass a mirroring ordinance of what the county is passing for you guys to be able to take that on, is that correct?
The DNR, again, they just approved
Right.
our standalone ordinance, and in that, again, it's not been approved yet, but it names all the different communities.
Right.
And then they also gave us a sample resolution for each of the smaller communities, that's what they need to pass, a resolution pointing to that floodplain ordinance. And that is what they said was the legal way to go, and so we have an example that I can provide to you that the different towns and cities would then pass that resolution that would point.
And
to
that
the past
includes
ordinance.
us because we're in the unincorporated, like we are our own DPS, that resolution includes us for who are not in you guys' DPS?
Yeah, that, you can just point to that, even
Okay.
though you're not, that's what the DNR has told us.
Okay.
And I've explained all this to them, so
I
I'm
would-
hoping you're the experts, and how we get this done. But I can tell you that our discussions with the DNR, they were very supportive of this. They see this as a big win for our community to have the engineering people looking at this and not the planners looking at it.
And that's from my perspective, floodplain management is kind of a different animal when it comes to, like, there's so many pieces when it comes to planning a development or planning out a parcel. They're already looking at our stormwater capacity, they're already looking at where that water runs. It only made sense, in my opinion, to move this over there. They're already doing all that review work. It's something that, to be honest, until I went to the training a couple weeks ago, I did get, not certified, I am able to carry it on if this is past, or pushes past that July deadline. We're not in violation, but with that being said, I think this would be a big win for our community to be able to review this at that level. I would just ask that we get the resolution and get it over to our attorneys to make sure that it's a sound document.
And our timeline to get the commissioners, we hope will adopt the ordinance on May 2nd, effective June 2nd, which then, if you guys did your resolution in your second June meeting, would then be effective before that July deadline. So I know when we first talked, you're like, is it gonna happen before July? And I'm like, I'm not sure.
And that's why I went and got the training, because we can't guarantee this is all gonna pass the way it is.
So I think we should move towards it. Brian, what do you think?
Yes.
Seamus?
Yeah.
Rob? Great. Get it done.
So give me the resolution, we'll get it over to our attorneys, get it
Do you
reviewed.
have a card by chance?
Sure I do.
If not, Tyler can send you
Yeah,
the
I'll get it.
information.
I have, I know it's running late, but there's a couple.
Thank you.
But we had talked last year about the intent of the town council to have us regulate the subdivisions, which again, you guys choose your own direction, but I think is in your best interest for long term, that instead of your stormwater having to take care of those future stormwater systems when they end up failing, as they inevitably will, that falls under the surveyor's office, under the regulated drain system, like we regulate every other subdivision in the county.
I like that.
happens.
Him taking as much as we can give him.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to stormwater
Yeah,
stuff, I mean.
I agree. When it comes to water.
We did a little bit of analysis that you can see in those handouts that Taylor can share with them later, but there are 23 subdivisions that have a storm management system in Leo-Cedarville. 10 of those are regulated, 13 are not. Okay, because there were different town councils that decided they want to do this or didn't want to do this and flip-flop, and that's kind of where we're at. And you asked me if we could go back and clean those up, and there would be a way to do that. It would just take a little bit of time to get that done. And that would be us bringing you, because you would have to petition as the town council to regulate the drain. And so I've done that with New Haven before, but we would prepare a petition for one of these, sections, or multiple ones, and then I come to council, you guys, if you supported it and approved it, then I would take it to the drainage board, and we would have public hearings, and we would go down the process of regulating those ones that are currently unregulated. It could happen, and by Indiana Drain Code, you all could petition it, and then I could take it to public hearing, and then the Drainage Board would make their decision. But I think, I think it would be in everybody's best interest if we go down that pathway. You'd asked me to look into that, and we have. I just haven't circled back to you. But you can kind of get an idea of the list, and I give you maps of what's regulated and what's not regulated as well. So, any questions about?
No, I think Tyler will be your point guy on this, obviously.
We'll start chasing down this road and figuring it out. We need to make sure we understand.
To clean up that.
We can hit that drain code. I like it.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to follow the law. So it's Indiana Drainage Code is great. It's laid out great. And so if you follow it, you'll always be in good shape. And really impervious to outside lawyers, but you have to follow it. The last thing, and I know it's been long for you guys, is you were one of our 6 townships that we started with our section corner program. Again, trying to find the stone markers that were laid by the federal surveyors in the 1800s. And we chose, we started in the rapidly developing townships, and we've done a few rounds, and I've provided what we have so far, and that's also on our GIS layer of the section corners that we have monumented or perpetuated, in your area, right? So I just took Cedar Creek Township because you're inclusive in there. But we'll continue to do that work. And again, that's so important because all private property ownership ties, this is the base layer of what the auditor maps and of all property ownership in the county. So it's super important, and everything comes back to these stone markers. And so it's my job to keep that system in good shape. And before I got in, it had been neglected for well over 20 years. And so we've got a lot of catch up to do, but I think we're off to a great start. We've probably perpetuated 500 section corners in Allen County in the last 2 years, which we have maybe 2,400 theoretical section corners in the county. So we got after it and are continuing to do that. So that just kind of gives you an update on that. Anything else that you guys
No, thank
have
you.
a question on? Or
We will, I'm sure.
Yeah,
down the road.
as we start working down this road, I'll start filing these guys' information and we can get that question back to them.
We appreciate you coming and updating us and helping out.
Yeah, helps hopefully keep your costs down a little bit.
Yes.
And utilize the expertise of the surveyor's office, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Park Board, Monday, May 12th, Planning, May 13th, Zoning, May 13th, Stormwater, 14th, you guys can read. Do we have, anybody have anything else up here? Brian, Seamus, Tim, Andrew? Crowder? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Sorry it was so long.